Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Sidebar Cantina, the podcast where we talk about Star Wars, pop culture, Mickey Mouse stealing all of our money, or whatever the fuck we feel like talking about. I am Jason Roscom, joining me each and every single week, straight out of Florida.
Right.
Disney World. The Darth Vader to my Palpatine, Dave Martin. Hello, Dave.
Hello, Jason.
How are you?
I am cold. It's cold up in this bitch.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Not in here. It's fine in here. We are in a climate-controlled environment. Yes, I know, RJ. Thank you.
Yeah, but outside it got fucking cold. It's been so nice lately.
Yeah. It was nice because I wasn't here,
Right. You were down in Florida, which
where it was 90 degrees both days. Yeah. So thankfully I was wearing sunscreen. My dermatologist is watching. I put sunscreen on. I may not have reapplied as much as I should have, but I tried. Damn it, I tried.
hey, you know what? That's all you can ask, right?
The best sunscreen is the sunscreen you wear.
Yeah. I didn't wear shit when I went.
Yeah, well, naked completely.
Well, no sunscreen.
Oh, all right, fair enough.
No, I did not walk around Disney World naked. That probably wouldn't have lasted very long.
Oh, I mean, it would have been exciting.
Yeah. That could be like the new version of streaking. Instead of streaking across like a football field or something, streak through Disney World.
Yeah, see how far you can get.
Yeah.
For
Because I'm sure they're not ready for that.
Oh, I bet they are.
You think so?
Oh yeah, I feel like they're ready for any possible contingent.
Okay.
We'll talk about how we couldn't even get an umbrella through security when we break down my experience and going into Disney.
All right, fair enough. So I guess should we even say what we're talking about today?
We're talking about our mutual trips to Disney.
Yeah. And mostly how it relates to Star Wars. But
Yes.
I mean, we're going to have some other non-Star Wars talk
Right.
too, because, there's a lot going on at Disney World, but
There is.
primarily focusing on Star Wars, a little other stuff here and there.
Because, quite frankly, spoiler alert, the fucking Star Wars shit was worth the trip.
But we'll get there.
Yes,
We don't want to
We'll get there.
we don't want to blow our wads yet.
Yeah.
My penis so smooth.
So, all right, should we get to our business and talk about Patreon?
Why don't you talk about Patreon?
All right. Well, as always, we'd like to give a huge shout out to all of our current patrons. My wonderful mother-in-law, Patricia Goodstein, Don Solsky, The Orange and Fett Show, Dragon Buddy, Sterling Azier, Helen Martin, Chantal from Pop My Culture, Ivo G, Scott and Kim from Used and Abused, Catherine Rennick, Tina Land, Frederick Martin, Wally Frogmore, Lord Helmet Fire, Carly Vickers, David Schmuck, Frank Kalevich, Nick from Sweet Studios, Kristen Roscom, Shuck and Mark, and Brady McLovin. If you'd like to consider becoming a supporter, you can find us at patreon.com/the Sidebar Cantina. Now, 2 weeks ago, we attempted to give away a book.
Yes.
And the winner chose to forfeit the prize.
Well, I mean, yes, lovingly chose to give the prize back to those in need.
Yes. So we are doing another giveaway today for the Master and Apprentice book. And when whoever wins, get in touch with Kristen, and she will get you either a physical copy or a digital copy, whatever you desire.
How do they get in touch with Kristen? Will
Social
they
media?
know?
I mean, I would imagine. I mean,
Right.
they're all in the Facebook group, so.
Oh, that's fair. Thank you, Facebook group.
Yep. So, and we're going to do that right now, actually. So I have a list of names.
Sacred
I have my I have my random number generator. So let's just get right to it. So I always click it 5 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
6, 7, 8, 9,
5.
10, 11, 12.
Ooh, number 1,
Numero uno.
which is, if I can find my list, Don Solsky.
Hey!
So Don, if you
94.
would like the book, get in touch with Kristen. If you can't get a hold of her for whatever reason, go through Lunar Girl, and I'm sure she'll make the connection there.
Wrong button.
Okay.
My penis so smooth.
And again, congratulations to Don, and thank you again to all of our Patreon supporters. You are the reason why we do this.
When are we doing the book?
2 weeks from today.
2 weeks.
Yeah, next week is more Bad Batch, and then the following
That's
week
right.
is Master and
That's right.
Apprentice. I almost call it Master and Commander every time.
Yeah, same. I do it deliberately.
Right.
So
The sacred Jedi.
So So do you have any sidebar headlines?
I do, in fact, have
All right.
updated up to the minute sidebar headlines.
Ooh, what do we got?
My penis is so smooth.
I think you're just jamming buttons now. Just for the-
Stay tuned for the hugely anticipated return of our beautiful sidebar diva, Hennifer, coming up after our main topic. That's the breaking news.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, this is the subtle reminder from Lunar Girl that I in fact promised that Hennifer would make an appearance today.
Okay, that's
So
her highly anticipated return
Right.
to the show.
yes. Also, I videoed another episode of Restoration Station, aka Dave's ADHD. Facts. I created a soldering station modeled after Adam Savage. So be sure to check out the latest short posted on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and the YouTubes. So yeah, I went on like a little media blackout yesterday.
Mhm.
Like I just needed some isolation, and while I was like in the shop and I'm working on this and then doing that, and I was kind of doing this, and I looked over, I was like, oh, that looks like this thing that Adam Savage made into his soldering station.
Mhm.
I'm like, I have soldering shit. I could do it. I'm going to do that right now. Instead of finishing what I was working on over here,
Right.
I'm going to go do that right now.
You're like squirrel.
Squirrel. Yeah, exactly. Dude, it is the worst. It is the worst ever. So it reminds me, I got to take the clamps off of the rocker tonight. Anyway, yes. So yeah, check it out on YouTube. That thing with the things. But back to you.
Okay, so that's the end of the headlines.
That's the end of,
Oh
the
my God.
headlines. Oh yeah, my brain.
Okay.
It's my brain.
So we had a pretty good bit of Star Wars news drop this morning.
Yes, we did.
So yeah, breaking news. We have a release date for Star Wars: The Acolyte.
We do.
There'd been a
indeed.
lot of speculation, a lot of rumors, but finally, straight from the horse's mouth, June 4th.
June 4th.
We are seeing
We'll do it live.
Wait,
94.
that's what I was looking for.
The Acolyte. And all as part of that today, they also released a poster, which I'm going to put onto the screen here. I fucking love this poster. It says, "In an age of light, a darkness rises," and it's got a lightsaber hilt with basically a blood streak.
Yeah.
Like, instead of like the ignition, it's like a blood streak for the blade.
These motherfuckers are just teasing the shit out of us.
Yep. And speaking of teasing us, tomorrow we actually get a trailer
Yeah.
for The Acolyte. So pretty exciting, and I'm sure we'll have a lot to talk about next week when it comes to that trailer. So
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, this show has the potential to be so good. It really does.
If it has Andor like qualities, like in its temperature and everything else, then it could be very, very good.
Yeah.
But since we have almost zero idea what the fuck is going on with this show,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like literally nothing. We have nothing
Yeah.
to go on, really. So
Mm-hmm.
I guess,
Well, we'll know something tomorrow.
yeah. I mean, yeah. We'll have something tomorrow, and then we can start speculating wildly
Mm-hmm.
about what's going to follow, and maybe we can make some connections to other canon.
Yeah.
And then wildly speculate about that.
Yeah. And the good news too is it's coming soon. So
Yeah, it's
a month after Bad Batch ends, we're gonna jump right into the Acolyte. So
Remember how
yes.
didn't we say at some point last year, like, man, we're gonna have like the doldrums of Star Wars? Didn't we say something like that?
For this year?
Yeah,
Yeah, because we weren't sure about the strikes and like
Yeah.
when stuff was gonna come out, but I guess
somebody broke the dam on that one.
yeah.
Popped the cherry right out of it. Maybe just
Yeah.
let it flow.
And there's talk about Andor season 2 coming out in December of this year. It's again, that's just rumor at this point.
I don't
but,
even want to think about it. As much as I want that to happen, I don't want to think about December right now.
Yeah.
I want warm weather.
Yes. Oh, for the love of God,
Right.
please.
Yes, please.
Sunlight. Oh.
Yes, warm weather. That's RJ pining for warmer weather.
Yep.
Where's his anus on here to turn him off and on?
It's a button on the bottom, or it's a switch on the bottom.
I'm just gonna keep fingering him until I find it.
Okay. Well, when he squeals in excitement, you'll know you got there. Oh my God, Dave, this is not what we're supposed to be doing right now.
You keep doing what you're doing.
I don't know what I was doing. That's the thing. Okay, yeah. So Acolyte, excitement's building, and I'm sure after the trailer tomorrow we're gonna be like, oh my God. So
I hope so.
Yeah.
Here's hoping. Hit a button.
yeah. Oh,
Did it work? All right. I
Hey,
did
he's
it.
back. All right. So I wonder if there's a way to turn that off, like him going into sleep mode.
I don't know. We talked about reprogramming him last week.
Yeah. He also came with an instruction manual that I never read.
Mm.
So I'll have to look into that. Anyway, but we digress. So I don't have a day in Star Wars today. They all sucked. All the options for this whole week, they were lame. So I guess we should just get into our week.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. So again, I have no additions to the Sacred Black series.
Sacred Jedi.
So I bought something on eBay like 3.5 weeks ago, and the motherfucker still ain't here. I think it's lost in the mail. Yeah.
Sad face.
Yeah, and it's a good one too. It was like a really good one that I was really looking forward to getting. And
Have you like done all the eBay like, hey, what the fuck overs to try and
not
ascertain-
yet? Yeah.
It's time to start poking people,
Well,
man.
well, because it like it has a tracking number already, and it left the person's house. It's just somewhere lost in the fucking mail in California. So I don't know. I was gonna wait a little bit longer before I did that, but we'll see. But I do have some additions to not our Sacred Pops, but Kristen's Sacred
The
Pops.
Sacred Jedi.
Jesus Christ. So
we don't have the pop drop anymore, so that's what you're getting, folks.
So first thing, she collects all of the Valentine's Day ones, the pink ones.
Yeah.
And this year they only had one that was just a normal pink one, and then they had like the ones that were like chocolate. They were like brown. And she didn't get those. She just wanted the pink ones. And she's like doing Google searches. She's like, this can't be all that came out this year. And then she comes across something. She's like, what the fuck? And this was like 2 or 3 weeks ago. She comes across something. She's like, I never fucking saw this. I never heard of this. There was no announcements about this. Seriously, what the fuck, Funko? And what that was a small Valentine 4-pack of mini pops.
The minis.
Yeah, they're like it's kind of like a heart-shaped candy box,
Yeah.
but there's 4 mini pink Funko Pops in there.
A Walmart exclusive.
Yeah. And
Pocket
again,
pops.
and they did no good advertising on that, because as someone who's been like rapidly collecting these Valentine's Day Funko Pops,
they looked very edible.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. Like,
well,
wow,
I'm pretty sure they're not candy.
delicioso.
Yeah. So yeah, she got that, and she's gonna put those on display on her new computer desk. Which, did I talk about her computer
You
desk?
did
Like with the reverse instructions. Okay, because that fucking
with the zzz, that elevates and everything.
yeah,
else.
yeah. I'm still mad about that, but whatever. She got this for her desk also. I didn't realize until a couple of years ago that she like loves Jabba the Hutt. She's like obsessed with Jabba the Hutt.
Really?
Kind of like Diego Luna, I think. So she got herself the Jabba the Hutt Funko Pop from Return of the Jedi, obviously.
Obviously.
Yeah. So she got that. She's gonna take that out of the box and,
And it's
put it
got
in
a
her
tiny
desk also.
salacious crumb.
Yeah, of course. Because monkey lizards are awesome.
The fuck they are.
But
Do I have all of those?
I don't know.
I don't think I have that Leia.
Is it Slave Leia?
No, it's the it's her in the bounty hunter outfit.
Oh.
I don't maybe I do.
Did they have a Slave Leia Funko Pop?
I don't know.
Huh.
Maybe.
Okay. It's something to look into. So
It's our all right. So our memories are not good.
no, mine's been going downhill pretty quickly too.
Yeah, it's like, all right, I could go into the Funko app and dig around and whatever. That would take forever. It would just be I don't remember. I don't remember if I have that or not.
Yeah.
It doesn't ring any bells.
Yeah, I mean, we could sit here and like look, but
What sucks is like, so I'm at the airport we're I forget which they're coming or going or whatever. But like, my facial recognition software is going off, right? Because I remember faces,
Mhm.
right? It's just something I've always done,
Sure.
but I suck with names. But if I feel your disappointment, and just for that I'm going to reach into your anus yet again. So my facial recognition software was going bananas.
Mhm.
Like,
On
for,
like a specific person?
No, like 3 or 4 people.
Oh.
And I'm like, God damn it! But I couldn't resolve like where or when.
Mhm.
It just was like bing, bing, like the alarm was going off, not in a bad way necessarily, but just like, hey, that's you. You recognize that face? I'm like, do I? And I caught myself like really staring, like uncomfortably staring. You know how when you're looking at somebody and you're like, I should stop looking at them now,
Right.
because it's probably getting creepy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like that. I'm like, man, I know this person, but I don't know why and I don't know where, but I've seen that face before.
Mm.
And I don't know if it's just a commonality of faces, like, because like going to Epcot and going to all these other places, right? You see, we've been so many places in the world, done so much traveling. We've spent a ton of time in international airports and flying cross country and doing all this stuff, TDYs and shit like that. Like, we've seen millions of faces, and it makes me wonder, like, do some faces just start looking the same? Like, how people say like the doppelgangers and shit like that. It just makes me wonder, like, if my internal like recognition software just is like, it's now like that facial feature is keying off, even though it's not the same person.
Mm-hmm.
And when your memory is starting to go, like, I don't remember what was in my eggs this morning, but my brain will key off on like, hey, that's a face that you saw like 36 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
It's so fucking, it's fascinating how the fucking brain works and then doesn't work.
Right. Yeah.
Like, God damn it.
Yeah. So anyway, yeah, that's all the good stuff from my week.
Which buttons?
For the rest of it, it hasn't been good. I know I talked about it a couple weeks ago, but my mental health is like just fucking spiraling down so fast. Yeah, I don't even know what to say. Like, it's been bad, and it's been constant. And like, I got to a point last week. There was one bad day last week where I basically told Kristen, "Don't leave me alone. Like, don't leave me alone today, because things will not go well." And I've gotten increases in my meds. That's not helping. I'm now taking more meds, more vitamins. I had some blood work come back, and now I have high cholesterol. So
Hey!
Yeah, so now I'm on a statin.
Yeah, me too.
But no, just I don't know. I don't know what to do. Oh, and my fucking therapist has double booked me twice now, so I haven't seen her in a few weeks. I've got an appointment with a psychiatrist next week or next month that they keep pushing back. They've called me twice to reschedule. So it's like, what the fuck, man?
Yeah, doctors are tough right now. Like, I'm in between therapists myself. But and today was one of those days where I started the day with like, you have to make a phone call to see what's going on with that.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm sitting here and I hadn't called yet. So I have to fucking do it. It's because I'm with you. I don't know if it's funny, right? So your declining mental health kind of started when you got back from your trip.
From Disney?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I
And-
mean, obviously it'd have been bad before that too, but
Right. But
like
I mean,
the new lows. Yeah.
right. And like I just got back and I'm like, everything just seems worse. I mean, I'm just getting back and but it's fresh right now. And yesterday was a bad day. It was a really bad day. And today was tough too.
Yeah.
And it might have something to do with just, I mean, for me anyway, it might, coming back and having to go back into work. And there's a bunch, I have a bunch of shit going on. Extra organizational shit.
Oh yeah.
As per usual.
Yes, the usual Dave stretching himself too thin.
Yes. But talking about it is huge, right?
Yeah.
That's what we need to do. We need to talk about it because that way people know what's going on,
Yeah.
and they can be watching us going like, hey, hey, fuckhead, what's going on today?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Sure,
Like,
yeah.
so talking about it's important. Helmet Fire says that's how they make Disney addictive.
Right.
You have this dopamine crash afterwards.
Yeah, you get all depressed when you leave.
Yeah, shit, there might be something to that, man.
Right.
That's- and
I
then-
only wish it were that simple.
Right, and surround ourselves with fucking Disney products to try and get there.
Yeah.
But yeah, we collectively and you individually we just got to keep getting the appointments and trying what they tell us and just tell people what's going on.
Yeah.
That's what we got to do. Thankfully, we're coming out of the doldrums with the weather and everything else. So
Yeah,
like,
that's good.
getting out and about and doing stuff,
Yeah.
I think is going to be important because
Outside in the sun.
yeah, just doing stuff. The one thing that I've been appreciative of is kind of because I haven't been in school this semester, and I have some time. Like I don't feel like I'm constantly pressed into like when I'm home I have shit I have to get done. I know that there's shit I'm not doing, and the not doing of things leads me to being depressed because I'm not doing those things,
Yeah.
which makes it worse. And then I still don't do those things, end up depressed.
Yeah, I know. I'm kind of in a similar boat, except, I do have all this spare time, but I have like no interest in doing anything that I enjoyed before.
Yeah.
Like none.
You need something more structured to do
Yeah.
with your time outside of work.
Yeah.
Because if work is your only structure, then you're going to like we need structure. Like I think we were so much of our lives was structured for so long.
Yeah, with the military.
Yeah, and I think we need a little bit of structure. So like a bowling night or something or going to Magic the Gathering tournaments again.
Yeah.
Because you were doing that a lot. And then that's kind of
Yeah, I don't really do that much anymore.
yeah, so like shit like that, just stuff that's on the schedule. I know for me, I put stuff on the calendar very deliberately so that I have something to look forward to.
Yeah.
Even if it's a little thing, it's something that I can like open up the calendar and scroll ahead a couple days, be like, okay, that is something in my routine that's not the monotony,
Yeah.
and whatever that is, even if it's fucking, I don't know, driving somewhere.
Yeah.
Just you and Kristen just driving somewhere just to see something different.
Yeah. Oh,
Go ahead.
I was gonna say that is something I did this weekend. Took my middle son, Adam, out driving.
Oh my god.
So yeah, now it's his turn.
Oh my god.
Yeah. So,
Which car?
mine
Okay.
with the Bolt? Yeah. Well, I only just took him up the road here into that parking lot by the train station.
Right.
Had him drive around the parking lot, and then he drove home.
Well, actually, that's nice to have, like, especially in the weekend because it's probably empty, right?
Yeah. Yeah. It was completely empty.
Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah. But that was his very first driving lesson. This was yesterday. So
That's crazy.
yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah. Time is a flying. And then my last son is going to be right behind him. Like
Yeah.
he'll be able to start driving this summer.
I can't picture Ben driving.
I know. Neither can I.
Oh my god.
So yeah, I don't know what the hell's gonna get me out of this fucking funk, but it's bad and I hate it. And like I said, I get no pleasure out of anything anymore, and it sucks. Because before I was eating a lot, and I think that was helping, but even eating now just doesn't.
Yeah. And now you get like high cholesterol there, and you're like, man, now I can't fucking eat.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, yeah, I hate to say it, the gluten free. No, we're not talking about Disney yet. We're talking about how Disney makes us coming back from Disney makes you depressed. It's cause and effect.
Right, right.
No, like the gluten free thing too. It's not. I'm used to it now, but like getting pleasure out of food isn't a thing.
Now, how did that work at Disney?
Dude, Disney is so like menu friendly for if you have a food allergy.
Oh, like
Like,
dietary restrictions?
Yeah,
and all
it
that?
is insane how they will bend over backwards because we were every place we went, if we were just even mentioned it, like, hey, do you have like a menu or something like that? It was like, boom. It's like, yes, we have all of the things.
Damn.
And like they'll separate and like, dude, it was amazing for that.
That's good.
So you could, like, people that have those legitimately have those allergies. Like, fortunately, I don't have an allergy. For me, it's just just something I'm doing with my diet.
It's a life choice.
Exactly. So it's not as critical.
Yeah.
Like you don't have to go through all the bullshit for me. I'll just order this from this menu.
Yeah.
But for those that do have those legitimate allergies, like Disney is going out of their way to make that experience, like they do, like honestly, like they do with fucking everything else that they got going on in those parks.
Yep.
They fucking like, oh no, we're here's everything that you could possibly eat or not eat or whatever, and they do it right.
Well, good. Very good. So, but yeah, that's the end of my week.
It'll get better. It'll get better.
I hope so, because it's been getting worse and fucking worse.
It'll get
and
better.
Worse and
Plan shit to do.
yeah. So anyway, how about you?
We have the podcast.
Yeah,
we
that
always
is
have
true.
the podcast.
Yeah.
And I put the podcast on my calendar for that reason.
Yeah. So besides Disney, which we're going to get to in a little
Yeah.
bit, what else do you have for the
Well,
week?
it's funny, we're talking about the mental health thing. So I came across, there's a podcaster, came across him on YouTube. His name's I'm going to make sure that that's the name because my memory is failing me right now. So I'm going to click this. Yeah, it's called The Sean Ryan Show. And I think that he's probably not a lot of people will like him because of he's more of a right-wing guy.
Mm-hmm.
But he does interviews with operators. Like he's a former Six guy.
Okay.
And he interviews operators and he talks a lot about operators like post military.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's not about like the politics of the operation necessarily.
And for anybody who was wondering, he's not talking about telephone operators.
No, okay. We're slipping into military language.
Yeah.
So if you have questions, leave them in the chat. But so he's interviewing these guys and he's talking about them like as a peer, but he also knows that like his experience that he had, a lot of these guys he's interviewing, he knows that like I'm not at your level. Like the one interview that has really, it was a 3-part interview with a Command Sergeant Major Tom Satterley. He was at Black Hawk Down, and like he was a brand new Delta guy when it happened. And it's like I said, it's a 3-part interview. Each part of this interview is 3 hours. Right? It was over multiple days, and like I said, the dude Sean Ryan, he knows it. Like, oh, dude, I'm not on this dude's level. And what was for me, listening to it, like, so I was listening to a couple of the episodes. It had different guys doing different shit. Some of it we were really familiar with. Some of it you're not. But this thing with Black Hawk Down, with Tom Satterley, like, I knew the name, I knew it from other stuff. His mental health stuff, he didn't deal with until like really recently. Like, he was in Delta for 25 years, or like, yeah, he had a 25-year military career, and he was like in Delta for almost all of it.
Mm-hmm.
So he was in the shit almost his entire career.
That's insane.
And
That's probably a lot to unpack once you're done.
Yeah, that's 3 marriages. That's never dealing with everything adequately.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a, like, in the second part of this episode when he's talking through some stuff, and he makes some really, like, it's tough to listen to, like, for us, I think, like, for people that have PTSD, and I think there's a lot of triggers in it.
Mm-hmm.
But he says things at the end of it that I think are really, really good for a lot of veterans to hear, a lot of combat veterans especially. It's like, and it's not, you don't have to be in his situation to understand what he's saying.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And like I said, this particular show, I don't give a shit about the guy who's interviewing him. Like, this Sean Ryan guy, I don't care. This is just like, it's like listening to different music.
Sure.
I don't give a shit how the music is, what the music's being played on. I just care about the tune.
Mm-hmm.
And this Tom Satterley guy, he's got a book out called All Secure. I guess it came out, like, this interview was 5 months ago. So I'm actually going to buy the book and I'm going to read it. But it's basically talking about, like, his whole mental health journey.
Mm-hmm.
And he's super real about it. Like, and that reality of, like, how much you push down and push away, and how you compensate for certain things by chasing things down, other, like, oh, I'm going to chase this, I'm going to chase that.
Mm-hmm.
And some of it hits home so fucking square. Like,
I would imagine.
I was
yeah.
listening to it, I was going, holy fuck. I mean, here's somebody that went through this same exact thing.
Yeah.
And he talks about, like, going through different therapists and finding the right therapist, and, like, having to stick with it, and having a good support system and shit like that. So it's good. It's good shit. For our veteran listeners out there, like I said, there are some triggers in there for some stuff, but yeah, I would highly recommend. It's the Sean Ryan Show, episode 77 with Tom Satterley. And then I'll read the book, his All Secure book, and I'll let you know how that is.
Okay.
Once I get it.
If you get the paper book, it might be something I have to borrow from you.
Yeah, I'm going to get the physical book just because I feel like that's something I need to impart that way.
Yeah.
But yeah, dude was legit, and it's funny too because it's like I was talking about, like, the wintertime is the worst for me, like, mental health wise, because of the fucking weather and 37 degrees and raining and not being able to be outside doing shit and all
Short
that.
days and
Yeah, it's just the worst.
yeah.
So yeah, and being in between therapists and getting in a fight with my psychiatrist and having to fucking tell him off, and it was a whole thing. Imagine me getting in.
You don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
Dude, I pretty much I made him get into his feelings a little bit.
Really?
Oh yeah, I did.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm like, dude, you're an automaton. I told him that straight up.
Wow.
I was like, I was like, I get it. You got a lot of patience that you got to fucking deal with, but I'm tired of being understanding.
Yeah.
I'm tired of going like, I get it. Yeah, I get it. I don't give a shit.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this is about me.
Yeah.
It's about what I'm feeling right now.
Mm-hmm.
Because that was me for too long, and it's still me. I have to remind myself, like, when I'm sitting there in the doctors, and it's it's when you're reading your own doctor note and it says, oh, patient, pleasant 47-year-old or 48-year-old male, blah, 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 blah. You don't read your own notes. You don't read the doctor's shit.
Not when it comes to the mental stuff. No.
Oh, I read all of it. And, yeah, it's, you read this stuff and I'm like, yeah, I'm tired of being pleasant. Like, I'm faking it for them.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm not going to do that anymore. I'm going to be polite,
Well, sure.
but I'm not going to fucking understand anymore. Like, yeah, you got your job to do, but I'm not moving until you understand what your role in this is.
Yeah.
And honestly, it worked with this guy.
Really?
Believe it or not.
Even after calling him a name, he.
Yeah. I calling him out. I think he had to take a step back and understand that, like, this is how I see you.
Yeah.
Right? I needed you in a moment. You weren't there. And this is how I felt afterwards. Like, this is not my expectation of somebody who's part of my mental health team.
Mm-hmm.
And what you did was put me in a worse position.
So what, did he cancel on you or something?
No,
or?
he fucking, when my dad died, I called and said, hey, this is what happened. I may need, like, something.
Mm-hmm.
And he basically was like, no. Didn't even talk to me directly. It was like through his nurse.
Wow.
And his nurse was even like, yeah, that's weird. I don't know why he wouldn't do anything.
Mm-hmm.
And that was it. Schedule an appointment.
Wow.
And I went in on said, and then this scheduled appointment, I was on my way in, but I was in the car. It was a tele appointment, and I was driving to another appointment, and he's like, "Are you driving?" Like, yes. He's like, "Oh, we can't do this appointment if you're driving. You're gonna have to reschedule."
Oh, you told me about that.
Yeah.
One. Yeah.
This is that guy. So by the time I did get to see him, it was like, you would think that time would heal that wound a little bit. Nah. I got in there. I was like, bro, all right, no, I'm going to sit here. I'm going to listen to you. You opened up with your normal bullshit, and I'm giving you, I gave him a chance.
Yeah.
But I told him straight away. I was like, this, because I figured if he was either going to correct or I was just getting somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
And he corrected. So
Well, good.
anyway, you got to stand up for yourself, and you got to, like, be your own best advocate.
Yeah.
Sometimes that means you got to be a bit of a jerk. Even me. I could be a really nice guy when I want to be. Anyway, I started out with this episode, Sean Ryan Show, that episode 77. It's pretty moving. It's pretty moving.
That's good. Yeah, I'll have to check that out.
Totally unrelated to that,
Mm-hmm.
and unrelated to Disney. Back in like 2004.
20 years ago?
Yeah, fuck, that's 20 years ago. Holy shit.
Mm-hmm.
We were in where were we? We were in Kazakhstan,
Mm-hmm.
right? On a stand trip.
Yeah.
And I was in this like little market, and there was watches and shit. All this like kind of Soviet era stuff that you could buy.
Oh, okay.
And I saw this watch. I'm like, that's a cool looking watch. I want to buy that. And I forget how many fucking ducats it was, or rubles, or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And I bought this watch, and I've had it forever, and I never really wore it to anything because it's a fucking, it's a Vostok watch, which is basically the Russian. They made watches for the Russian military,
Yeah, yeah.
and the lettering on there is KGB.
I see
and
that.
and that's the emblem, right?
Yeah.
So
I don't know if they'll be able to see this on the screen.
Vostok made like these watches. It'd almost be like buying, like, oh look, I bought this Blue Angels watch, right? Mm-hmm. It's like similar to that. And for whatever reason, I just had a wild hair up my ass and decided, like, oh man, I really want to wear this watch. And I was like, man, it'd be weird though, because I still work in an environment where like it's classified and shit like that. And walking around with a KGB watch might seem weird to people.
I could see that. I could see that.
So I was like, I'm not going to do it. And then finally, like I was talking to Rob, the guy I work with, and he's like, who gives a shit? I'm like, you know what? You're right. Who gives a shit? Did you see the back?
No,
Take a look at the back. It's really, the back of it's really, really cool.
it's a whale.
Yeah,
Free Willy.
it's got a killer whale. And then in Cyrillic, it says waterproof, and underneath it says self-winding.
Ah.
So it's the only automatic watch that I own, which is really funny. I have a bunch of solar powered ones and obviously battery operated ones, and a couple of windy watches. And I thought this was a windy watch.
Uh-huh.
When I got it, I thought like, oh, I have to wind it. So I would wind it like a fucking idiot, right? I'd be winding this thing, and it would still stop. I'm like, oh, it must be broken. And then, I put it away. So I went online. I was thinking about this damn watch, and I went online. I'm like, I wonder what it's worth, right?
Yeah, you
just
never know.
for shits and giggles, because I got it 20 fucking years ago at some random market. I wonder if it's worth anything.
Sure. Yeah.
This band is fucking the fact that this rubber is actually still intact. This is
pretty good.
This is the cheapest rubber band ever. But it's still shit, it's never left my fucking my dresser.
Mm-hmm.
So I decided to look it up, and it's, a few hundred, like $300-$400, right?
Damn.
And I'm like, God, why is it worth so much money? And it says, everything I look at says it's an automatic watch, like automatic and self-winding, basically. So when you wear it, like the movement powers it.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. And I'm like, is that why that it never stays after I wind it? Like, is that why it stops? Yeah, dumbass. Because it's a fucking automatic watch. It needs to move.
Right.
So
right.
I'm like, all right, let me test out this theory. So I put the fucking thing in my pocket yesterday, and I put it in my cargo shorts pocket, and I'm walking around doing all the fucking goofy shit that I do, and take it out of my pocket, and sure shit, it's fucking running like gangbusters. I'm like, huh? Would you look at that?
That's great.
So I wore it today, and I'm curious. I'm gonna wear it for a couple days and see what it does, like if it keeps decent time, because I need it has to be able to keep time.
Well, obviously, yeah.
Like otherwise, if I have to do a time hack every day, like no.
It's too much work.
We're not gonna be doing that. But yeah, it was just one of those random fucking things. I'm just like my brain just was like, I wonder what that watch is worth. It's because I have this like watch stand, and it's up there next to the watches that I wear. Like, I don't have a huge watch collection. Like, this was random.
Well, I can already tell you your watch collection is far bigger than mine, because I have a watch, and it's my Apple Watch that I never wear.
Which is probably the most expensive watch, one of the most expensive watches you can buy anyway.
Oh yeah,
like because they're fucking expensive.
Mm-hmm.
And my Apple Watch, I have a love-hate relationship with my Apple Watch, because it's square. And I think we've had this conversation before.
Yes, you don't like square watches.
I can't wear a square watch. And plus, right now, the battery is going on it.
Oh, really?
So, like, it won't hold a charge all day. So that kind of sucks. I could get the battery replaced, but then I'm like, I'm not really. I don't wear it during the week. And if I'm just wearing it on the weekend.
You shouldn't have updated it. That's your problem.
Oh, really? That's
Yep.
the problem?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, Mr. Didn't you just update your computer finally?
Oh, this one, yeah, it's now Windows 11. Begrudgingly.
But anyway, yeah, I don't like. I have a handful of watches. Not even a handful. We have the issued watches that we got, right?
Yeah, which I immediately lost that.
Really, that
The big one,
the G-Shock one.
Yeah.
Well, we got two over the years. Like, I still have both of those.
I think I only got one. I may still actually have it in a box somewhere.
Really?
But I never wore it.
You should find it and sell it, because those things still sell.
Are they like valuable?
I mean, a couple $100.
Oh shit.
Yeah, that solar powered G-Shock.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's a decent watch.
I'll have to go digging for that.
Yeah, or you could just give it to me
I could do that.
because I've the one I have is pretty beat up. I
Yeah.
mean, I when I stopped wearing my Citizen, I would take my my real nice flight watch
Mm-hmm.
off. I started leaving it in the jet, so
Mm-hmm.
when it get like I got to a point where I was worried about it being stolen or something.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
and it was getting scratched, and so I was leaving it in the jet and then putting on the G-Shock.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So my G-Shock got pretty beat up, and then that's what I would wear when I was, canoeing and doing all this shit because it had the tide feature on it. Like you can set the tides, like it has all the stuff on it.
Wow.
Yeah, it was a cool fucking watch. It was better than the first G-Shock they gave us, which was one of those like third generation G-Shocks. It was pretty bare bones.
I don't know shit about those watches, so I've never been a watch guy. Like, never.
I can't walk. Like, dude, I literally like if I leave the house and I have a watch in my backpack in case I somehow get out of the house without a watch on. I have a watch. I shit you not,
Wow.
because I will feel funny.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, so the poor dog while we were gone at Disney,
Mm-hmm.
she gets super anxious,
Yeah.
right? And so we got back, and she's obviously happy we were back, but I think like that anxiety, it takes her a couple days.
Yeah.
So she was throwing up last night. She was up all night. Like she had us up 2 a.m, 3 a.m. It was just like you just like you're waking up to it.
Hopefully not in the bed.
Oh yeah, twice.
Oh God.
Yeah, both blankets end up in the washer in the middle of the night.
Oh.
So, and it's a shame. It, like she just her her belly's upset from being so anxious. And we deservedly so. We left her.
Yeah.
But this morning, I got up late because of A, not wanting to get out of bed, B, because the fucking dog had us up. So I get out of bed, I get in the shower, I go upstairs and found a puddle of vomit with my bare foot
Oh.
coming right out of the fucking shower.
Oh, that's the worst.
It is. It's the fucking worst. And I'm like, God damn it.
Did you stick your foot back in the shower?
I did.
Yeah.
But all day. I know my foot was clean. Like I washed it.
Yeah.
I took the shower head off and I fucking power washed in there. It's just like, oh God, this is the worst. Right? What?
I was gonna say I have a sidebar for when you're done.
All right. So and I did all that and I fucking get upstairs and I'm like, I still feel dirty. I want to take a full shower for some reason. Like in my brain, the reset never occurred. Like
Mhm.
the light never changed from dirty to clean. Like it's still like amber dirty.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, fuck. But I didn't have time. Like I gotta go.
Yeah.
Like I know my foot's clean. I know it is. I washed it.
Right.
It's not like I fucking rolled around in this. I just put my foot in it for half a second.
Yeah.
There's no reason for me to feel weird about it at all, except for me. It's
Yeah.
my brain. And I literally all day have felt like I'm standing in vomit. All day.
So sidebar. So you remember how we got a lot of rain? What was it? 2 weeks ago?
Yeah.
So then a couple of days after the rain stopped, it was like nice and sunny out, and I happened to be walking outside with my socks on and no shoes.
Like you do.
Yeah, but because it had been raining a lot recently, the ground was still wet, so the bottom of my socks got wet as I'm walking around. Because I went out to check the mail,
Right.
and I walked across the grass. So the bottom of my socks are wet, and I immediately thought of you in the whole sock conversation.
Oh my God.
And then I came into the house, and I'm like, they'll dry eventually. So I'm still walking around the house with the
Oh.
with the damp socks on.
Oh my God.
It dried pretty quick, probably within a half an hour.
How,
And I kept meaning to tell you that
how
story.
could you?
It's whatever.
Oh my God. How are people like that?
I don't know. I just remember the socks conversation. I'm like,
I don't know
Dave
how
would
you
hate this.
I don't know how you can walk around with just socks on, just at all.
Even in the house,
Even in the house.
just lounging around the house.
Bro. No. I'm binary. I either have socks and shoes or nothing.
Wow.
That's it. There's two conditions:
Mm-hmm.
socks and shoes, or flip flops,
Yeah.
dependent, or barefoot.
Mm.
There's no like, oh, I'm just wearing socks right now.
What about when it's cold?
I'll put shoes on.
Oh, okay.
Like,
But
or
even if you're not going anywhere?
yeah, or I'll just go barefoot and I'll just keep the house warm enough where I don't have to fucking worry about it.
Interesting.
Yeah, no, fuck that. I won't wear socks. And if somebody puts their socky foot on me, I will lose my goddamn mind. I will lose my mind. Yeah, see, I have support in the chat on this. Like
Yeah.
it's socks are meant to protect are meant for inside shoes. Unless they have like rubber things on the bottom of them, like you get in the hospital, then they're slippers at that point.
Sure, yeah.
Otherwise, they're just socks. And I'm like hardwood floors and shit in my house. So like just walking around in socks, people would fucking be slipping and crack their skulls open everywhere. Like you need to wear a helmet in my fucking house to survive.
That's hilarious. So yeah, no, it made me think of you as I'm out there in my wet socks. I'm like, oh, Dave would hate this.
Yes, confirmed.
Undiagnosed autism support group. What the fuck?
Yeah, that's pretty much where we're at.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's where the show's gone.
yeah. That's where Dave is right now. It's
Yeah.
like, oh god,
So let's move on.
Yes,
shall we? Unless you have anything more for your week.
I have nothing more for my week except for Disney.
All right. So do you need a break or anything before we start talking
No.
Disney? All right, let's do it then. So I was at Disney, 2 months ago? You just got back on Saturday?
Saturday.
Yeah. So let's get down to it. And I want to hear about your trip first.
Okay.
So yours is the most recent. Tell us what happened.
So we left on Thursday, right? Yes, we left on Thursday.
Mm-hmm.
We had a 0300 wake up call for actually it was 0230 wake up call for a 5 a.m. flight.
Oof.
Yeah, and we had a fucking layover in Atlanta. It wasn't a very long layover. It was like maybe 40 minutes, but
Okay.
still, it was an early fucking flight.
Yeah.
So got up. We had everything packed and all that shit the night before, so we were ready to go. No issues with getting out the door. Got to Atlanta again. Flew Southwest. I will say the only thing that for me in particular, with all the Boeing shit that's been going on,
Yeah.
right? It's like, is there any? And Southwest fleet's all 737s, right? So I'm
Yeah.
like, none of these are Maxes, right? Yeah, no, they're all good. Like one of the airplanes was newer, like in the past 7 years, but otherwise, like the other airplanes were like 20 years old.
It's Southwest, man. They're a budget airline.
Yeah. Well, but Southwest is one of the better ones at that.
Oh, yeah.
The nice thing about having like a single fucking fleet, like a single aircraft fleet, is that that level of specialization means you have the tooling and everything else. Like you're not. It's nice because the people that you have there they're always working on the same airplane. They're always like in the same regs and shit like that. So it works.
Now, real quick, does Southwest still do the thing where it's basically a first come first serve for seats?
Yeah. So you can check in 24 hours prior, and you can basically you're fighting for the B positions, like B1 through whatever it is. And then once the B group fills out, then it's the C group, and so forth.
Yeah.
So I checked in, we were in B40, but the plane leaving out of Philly wasn't full.
Oh.
So we got, a decent seat, and we had space in between the two of us. So we were able to, it was comfortable.
Nice.
And even out of Atlanta into Orlando wasn't bad.
Yeah.
So we were super lucky. Again, I think because it was early and it was a Thursday. I mean, it was a good day to travel. So we got down there, and then because we knew that we couldn't check into the hotel.
Like 3 o'clock kind of thing.
Yeah, it's supposed to be 3 o'clock, and we were like, okay, let's go to the USO and just like see if we can get something to eat or whatever.
This was after you got to Orlando?
Yeah.
Okay.
So we got to Orlando. We went down to the USO. Good USO. It's in Terminal A in Orlando. It's smaller, but they have like Wawa sandwiches and shit like that. So that was nice. Hung out there for a few minutes, had something to eat, kind of, got our wits about us.
Mm-hmm.
Got a lift, got to the hotel. Went to the wrong hotel. I just remember that because in the app, the Hilton app, I pushed request a ride, and I didn't even verify which address it was taking us to. And it took us to a different Hilton.
Hopefully it wasn't too far away.
It was like another 5-minute ride.
Oh, okay, that's not bad.
We got it. That other hotel got us a cab, and then we took a cab to the other one. But at that point, we were like traveling zombies. So we got to the hotel. We were able to check in early, which was great.
Yeah.
Well, technically, I'd already checked in like 12 hours prior because I used the app.
Yeah.
And I'm a Diamond member. So I was like, oh, sir, yeah, your room's ready. Like, dude. So went up, dropped our shit, went to the bathroom, fucking went right out, and headed out to Epcot. We were in Epcot probably by noon.
Damn. That's great.
So that was the whole reason for doing such an early flight was that, hey, we know we're only have a couple days.
Yeah, maximize your time in the park.
Yeah. So we got to Epcot. And look, the beauty of going to Disney with no real agenda was no real agenda and no kids, right? So
Yeah, and that's pretty much what Kristen and I did
yeah,
during ours. No kids, and we just kind of winged it.
yeah. Nobody entertained but yourself.
Yeah.
So it's like, what do you want to do? All right, let's just walk. Let's just whatever happens, right? What do we want to do while we're in Epcot? We want to walk around the world, right? See what there is to see.
Yeah, which is pretty neat the way they do that. That going around that big body of water, like all the different like lands.
Yeah. Like, so what's funny is like you look at Canada and
Fuck Canada.
fuck you, buddy. You look at Canada and it's like, we've been to Ottawa enough times where when you're looking at that structure, like the big structure they have, they're like, oh, that's the Capitol building in Ottawa.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, and Kathy's like, what? Like, yeah, that's the Capitol building in Ottawa. I've stayed across the street from that like twice. And like that's where they had the person that would like use their vehicle as a weapon and killed a bunch of people.
Oh, yeah.
And it was like, yeah, it was right in front of this building. And she's like, what? Like, it's fine.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So Canada was like, whatever. And we kept walking. We got something to drink at Canada. And then we started going. Canada, Great Britain. So the big thing that was happening was the flowers that so they had the flower show thing that was happening. So, and I didn't bring my camera, dude. We traveled super light. Like Kathy had a rolly bag that had basically nothing in it.
Yeah.
And then I had just used my backpack, the same backpack I bring to the studio.
Oh, wow.
I just Ranger rolled everything up.
Yeah.
And I had 4 pairs of underwear, a bunch of socks, some t-shirts, and that's it, man. An extra pair of shorts just in case I fucking piss myself in one of them, and a bathing suit because. Right. Sidebar: when you're traveling, right? I'm telling you this, you out there, I'm talking to you,
not me, but
you out there. Always bring a bathing suit. Always, especially dudes. Always bring a bathing suit. Make sure it fits. Don't just leave it in your bag and just assume that the motherfucker's going to fit. But bring a bathing suit. And it has nothing to do with going swimming. If for some reason you get, banged up or you need to, you run out of laundry or something like that, a bathing suit has, for dudes especially, has built-in underwear, right?
Yeah.
And it's easy to fucking wash. It dries fast.
Yeah.
and it's the ultimate reusable piece of clothing.
These are travel tips from Dave.
Yeah, look, dude, this comes from traveling to 100 different countries in the world and having a bathing suit as this is like an emergency piece of clothing, and I do not travel without one.
Yeah.
So this is your tip. So
Just
anyway,
the tip.
just the tip.
37. My girlfriend sucked 37 dicks.
In a row?
My penis is so smooth.
Anyway, so anyway, yeah. So that's all we had.
So did you ride anything at Epcot? Any of the rides?
So we get to Epcot, and the first thing we did was we walked. We just kind of walked and went into the like shops and stuff, and kind of walked around where we were taking pictures of the flowers and shit. Didn't bring a camera. I was just using my iPhone, and we got all the way to Morocco, and we're just kind of chilling. Like, let's think about eating. So we made her like a reservation at the restaurant in Morocco
I
because
feel like that's close to where Kristen and I ate.
it was like right on the water
Yeah.
in Morocco. I forget the name of it. But the menu looked good. It had options for both of us, and we're like, yeah, that looks good. And the price was reasonable.
Mm-hmm.
We're like, yeah, let's do that. So we made a reservation there. Then we kept walking around. We made it all the way to Germany, and then we're like, okay, it's time for reservation. And so we kind of walked back, had lunch, and then after we ate, the food was phenomenal in Morocco.
Mm.
I forget what I ate. I forget what I ate.
Got to take notes.
It was Moroccan food.
Yeah.
It was delicious. One of the
Whoops.
hello.
Sorry.
One of the best meals I ever had was like in this Lebanese restaurant. Like, and it reminded me of that. It was like we had lamb.
Okay.
It was like lamb and had these hummus like fries. Very good. Everything was very good. Waitress was Moroccan. Like Disney, in each one of those countries, there was people from that country, right?
Yeah, work in the restaurants. And
Work in the
shops and all that.
restaurants, speaking their language and everything else.
Oh, so we did eat at the same place. Kristen and I had the hummus fries.
And the mint iced tea. All right, it was.
That's fucking hilarious.
That's awesome. God, that's great. So yeah, we finished up there, and then we kept walking. Went into Japan. Kathy bought an umbrella. Right, the umbrella is going to play into a story later.
Yeah.
So Kathy goes in. She buys an umbrella in Japan, and what we were looking for was like a parasol, like like a paper umbrella, like
okay.
something to protect you from the sun.
Sure.
Not like a rain umbrella.
Yeah.
Or like in Japan, we're like, oh, they have those things. No, they didn't. Not there. And but they had a regular ass umbrella, so we bought that. Okay, left Japan. We had ate in Japan with the kids the last time we were at Epcot. Like we ate in the restaurant in there.
Mhm.
So it was kind of cool, kind of going in there and reminiscing about when we were there with the kids.
Yeah.
So start working our way back around. We still haven't done really any rides or done anything. We're just like going in and out and just walking and just enjoying it.
Sure. Yeah.
And so we came around. We went to Mexico, and
Arriba.
we were like, "Oh, see." I should have done a JLo video.
Oh, God.
That would have been. Oh my God! All the cultural appropriation.
I'm Puerto Rican.
It was hot as fuck, and we were just like, oh man, we should go in here, like, cause it's cool. They got the pyramid and everything.
Yeah.
And we thought about doing the Viking ride, but we've done that before. So, but we hadn't done the in the Mexican pyramid ride. So,
Oh, I don't think we did that, Kristen and I don't even know what it is.
yeah, so we went in there, and it's the typical like Epcot ride when you go in there, and it's like taking you through like all the different animatronic like variations of whatever. But they have a restaurant in there that's super super cool because it's it reminds you of Vegas, like going
Oh,
into
yeah?
Vegas, because it's like dark. There's a they have the whole motif, right? It's like going into like a little Mexican village in there,
Yeah.
and they have a restaurant. It's down by where the water for the ride goes, and there's a huge pyramid, like a South American pyramid, and a volcano in the background. It's like actively like kind of smoking and like lava flow.
That's cool.
And in the way it's built into the background, it's like it has that real depth to it.
Mm-hmm.
Very, very cool. And we're like, and the ride, the wait was only like 15 minutes. We're like, cool, it's air conditioned in here. The wait's only 15 minutes. Let's do the ride.
Perfect.
So we went on that ride. It was cool. Air conditioning was nice.
Yeah.
And so we come out of that and we're like, okay, we need caffeine, like because the batteries were running low.
Yeah, since you'd been up since 2 a.m. or
Right,
whatever.
2:30. So we got coffee, whatever, and then we're like, okay, we've gone full circle, right? We've came back to where we started. We're like, all right, well now what? It's like, well, John had told us that we really need to do the Ratatouille ride,
Okay.
and he's like, it's worth the wait. And so she's like, okay, well, where's that? I was like, oh, it's in Paris. So
Yeah, I don't think we did that while we were there.
So we're like, okay, what's the wait look like? It's like 120 minutes. All right, let's go. So we hoof it to Paris, but we were trying to kill time till the fireworks because that's really what we want to do. We want to do the fireworks.
Like on the water there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're like, okay, cool. I don't think it was 120 minutes. It might have been 95 minutes for Ratatouille.
Sure.
So John, highly recommended. If you're listening to this now, he had highly recommended the Ratatouille ride. Said it's going to be worth it. So we're standing there in line waiting for Ratatouille, and it was a fun ride.
Mm-hmm.
It was everything you thought it would be to be a Roomba. Which our Lyft driver at one point asked us that question, like, so you were on that ride. What do you think? What was it like to be on a Roomba?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, huh, yeah, it was kind of like that, because you're basically following Remy around and going around. I don't know how familiar you are with Ratatouille,
Not really at
but
all.
it was a cute ride. There was some motion stuff in it that honestly, with the 3D glasses, like I was not really, after flying all day and being tired, like my inner ear was like, fuck you for doing this right now.
Yeah.
Kathy didn't seem to have any issues, but I was just like, ugh. And we can stop doing that. That'd be cool, because you're on the thing and it's it has a like half spin to it. Whatever. It was cool. Was it worth 90 plus minutes? It was cool, but it got us to like twilight, and so it got us closer to fireworks, which worked out. And then we're like, well, what do we want to have for dinner? We need to eat dinner. And we're like, I'm feeling a hot dog. So let's go over to America.
America. Goddamn hot dogs.
I don't need me a goddamn hot dog. Right. So we go to America, get a goddamn hot dog. And Kathy gets a turkey leg. We're going to get a turkey leg and a hot dog.
Perfect.
And, bear. Get turkey leg, a hot dog, and a bear.
Do you think foreigners go to Disney and they're like, oh, we want to try the American food?
It maybe. I
No wonder these guys are all so fat.
right. Well, back to the Ratatouille ride and just like how good Disney, how good Disney does everything at the park. And at the Ratatouille ride, there was a French Canadian family.
Fuck Canada.
In front of us. Fuck you, buddy. And these were American hot dogs, not brats. They were bad for you hot dogs.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry, distracted by chat. So they're French Canadians, and when you're going through the Ratatouille ride, there's like there's like Gaston talking, and he talks in French and in English,
Okay.
and you could tell like the like French Canadians were like, oh look, they're speaking in French. And when we got to the portion in the ride, like all the ride attendants were French.
Damn.
And they were speaking like Parisian French, like arrogant, like fuck you American French.
Yeah, I hate those people.
Yeah, they're like, and just the look on her face, like the one girl who was operating the fucking gates to get onto the ride, she just had that look like these fucking Americans. God damn it, what am I doing here? Right? I just wanted to be like, fuck you.
Yeah, you're earning a paycheck is what you're
Yeah,
doing.
bitch, what would you be doing in France right now?
Yeah.
Anyway, but it was cool, like that they have that, like the attire appropriate to fucking, you know, that the movie and everything else, and then the commitment to like, okay, we're gonna have French speakers in here.
Yeah, no, again, that's Disney, man. They go all out.
Yeah, spared no expense. And the entire time, both days, we're in both parks. I'm like, had the Jurassic Park thing, spared no expense going in my head.
Mm-hmm.
So we got out of Ratatouille. We get to the, we got our goddamn hot dog, and Kath is a turkey leg. She gets a turkey leg, and it's not as good as she was hoping.
Mm.
So we went to Venice, which, look, going past that was one of those times where I was like, man, I wish I was like eating gluten, because you know goddamn well that there's some good ass food in that Italian
Oh yeah.
part. I'm like, I'm not eating any of this. But what struck me was like how, when the last time we had been there, I hadn't been to Venice.
Mm-hmm.
So this was
Like the real Venice.
the real Venice.
Yeah.
And
Which I think you and I have been there together twice, if I'm
To
not
Venice?
mistaken. Were you on the trip where we? No, that was Liam, where we walked from one side of the city to the other and then caught a boat back.
no, I
Okay.
only was there on my Finney trip.
Okay.
But John and I did basically the same thing. We walked across the island and then fucking around it.
Mhm.
Yeah, it was a forced march, basically like we were fucking walking around Epcot.
Oh yeah.
But what struck me was like the accuracy of the buildings that are like right there, like the tower and those buildings, to the point where I was like on my phone looking at pictures, and like which annoyed Kathy to
Like
no end.
comparing the architecture of real Venice
Right,
versus
like here's
Disney Venice.
because I was trying to identify these two like columns that were there, because we ended up like on those columns
Mm.
to watch the fireworks show. It was on the because there was a couple of steps and then the columns. I'm like, fuck it, I don't recognize these columns being there. So I'm like looking at pictures in there, and Kathy's just giving me the eyes. Like, do you have to fucking mention?
Hey,
that
you
you were
guys have
there.
been married for like 25 years. She
Yeah.
should know this by now.
She knows it, and it annoys her every time. So, yeah, we were there, stayed there for the fucking fireworks, and they were good. Look, I'm not, like, fireworks aren't my jam.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I used to be into fireworks. I'm not as into them anymore. I'm more like a dog. I tolerate fireworks, but I just as soon not.
Yeah.
But it's Disney. It was a good fireworks show with the lasers and the fire and the water and like it was a whole thing.
Mhm.
Right? Did you saw the show, the recent one? The fucking, it was like the world among worlds and like feel good about each other and all the worlds being together, and
No, we didn't see that.
you didn't know. It was like this theme about worlds togetherness and shit like that.
Fuck that.
I'm like, yeah, okay. Like we're just gonna ignore so much stuff right now.
Yeah, get out of here with your globalist bullshit.
Yeah, I just like I don't just fucking make the water go up in the air and make the fireworks go boom. I don't need all this extra bullshit, right? So it was fine. It was fine. We stayed
Yeah.
for the fireworks. We're both fucking exhausted. We'd done like 26,000 steps, right? So it's like, according to the phone, because I didn't have a fucking watch, my Apple Watch, because, yeah. So we have to go all the way back to the other side of the fucking park
Mm-hmm.
to get to the rideshare lot, which, by the way, if you're going to do that, right, if you're not staying on the resort and taking Disney transportation to all your stuff, they have like like a separate rideshare area
Yeah.
that you go to, and it's super efficient and it's done really well.
Just like random people just waiting there to pick you up and
No. So what you would do is you go into your Lyft app and be like, okay, this is the pickup area and the rideshare area.
Okay.
And I was like reticent because it was my first time doing it, so I'd wait till we got into the area to like request.
Sure.
But we never waited more than 15 minutes for a ride.
Good.
Like there was more Ubers and Lyfts in Orlando than I've ever seen in my fucking life.
Yeah, I would imagine it's pretty lucrative for Uber and Lyft drivers out there.
They are everywhere, and English is a second language for all of them. Like we were trying to have a conversation with them, and they're like, "Oh no, sorry, it's so little English," which is great for them that it's lucrative, and it's like, and it was never an issue.
Mhm.
Like the cars were always immaculate. It was never a problem. It was just like you just tell that this was like this was their industry.
Yeah.
Like this is what they were doing. And it was awesome because that meant there were rides all the time. Like we never waited that long for a ride.
Good.
So you call up a ride and you basically you stand there and everything's GPS located. And then this rideshare area was kind of like a little, like, it'd have like a little horseshoe area where they would drive up and it
Yeah, they just pull through and
like at an airport basically. And it pull up, hop in, and then take off. They weren't allowed to like stage themselves there.
yeah, that makes sense because you get a log jam.
Yeah,
going pretty
very
quick.
easily. So yeah, I just saw that we could have had more Hennifer comment in the chat. So yeah, anyway, we get back to the hotel and Kathy crashes immediately.
Yeah, I would imagine.
Like she's like, boom, she's out.
Yeah.
And I get like literally because she went, got a shower, got out. I went, got in the shower, took a quick shower, got out. She's already done.
Yeah.
So pass out, get ready for the next day, and obviously the next day is Star Wars Day.
Oh, so
Right.
that was Hollywood Studios was day 2.
Day
All right.
2 is Hollywood Studios. Like
Nice,
the
nice.
reason that we're doing this,
Yeah.
right? And Kathy's been telling people leading up to the entire trip, like we're flying to Disney so Dave can build a lightsaber, right? This is the whole reason we're doing.
I mean,
this.
is she wrong though?
She's not. She's
Yeah.
100%. She's not wrong.
Yeah.
So we get down there, and we do the same thing. Wake up, breakfast hotel, blah 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 blah. Get into the park. It's like 10 o'clock. I had gone in. I did the Genie Pass
Mhm.
for that day.
Yeah.
Didn't bother doing it in Epcot because we weren't really doing anything in Epcot, so
Yeah.
it wasn't worth it. But I did the Genie Pass that day.
For
And-
Rise of the Resistance?
No. So what was weird was I did the Genie Pass. I couldn't buy it in advance for that day. You can only buy it the day of.
Right. Yeah. The morning of, because that's when I was telling you, like,
Right.
you got to do it at like 7 a.m. kind of thing.
Right. So I did I got the Genie Pass and then I was going to, do something with Rise, and it said that the Lightning Lane wouldn't work unless I was staying basically at the resort.
Oh, yeah. They do that for some of the rides, which
Yes.
is fucking retarded.
And that was one of them.
Yeah.
I'm like, fuck! But I was able to do it with the Falcon.
Okay.
So
Another one that you want to reserve if you can, because
Yeah.
they're both kind of long lines.
yeah, so my lightsaber build was at noon,
Okay.
right? It was 12:05. So I set up the lightning lane for between 2 and 3.
Mm-hmm.
And so I figured like that should be plenty of time. And yeah, so and then I figured we'd get Rise whenever we got it.
Yeah.
Went to did we eat before? I can't remember. Had to have been after. Anyway, so get into the park and get into Hollywood Studios, which I love Kathy and I both loved like kind of the 50s kind of like
When you
doo-wop
first go
thing when you
in.
first walk in.
Yeah.
Like honestly, we could have spent more time in that area of Hollywood Studios. I think it would have been fun.
Yeah.
But
We had an agenda.
there was a mission,
Mhm.
and we will not be deterred.
Yeah.
So it's like I opened up the app, and the Disney app was great, by the way, but it's a battery drain for sure.
Oh.
Like when you have everything turned on, including like the Play app to be able to like use the data pad and do all that shit. Yeah, it definitely was a drain on the battery. Thank God for the fucking the battery add-on. So I'm like, okay, there's Indiana Jones, fucking Star Tours is there. Let's go. So start walking towards that, and Star Tours had a 15-minute wait. It was like, Jason said that the scenarios have changed. There's potential like you can go in there multiple times. and
Yeah,
do
there's like
different
12
scenarios.
different scenarios that all mix and match with
Right.
each other.
So I'm like, let's do this first.
Yeah.
Let's do this first. It's right here. Let's do this first. It's a 15-minute wait, and this will kind of like warm us up.
Yeah. Now, before we get into the Star Tours experience itself, can we talk about the outside and how it was fucking designed with the massive life-size fucking AT-AT?
Oh,
and
you
the
didn't know
Ewok
that
Village?
You didn't know that was there?
No, because in California they don't have any of that. It's
Oh,
just
no
a
shit.
building. It's just a building you go into, and when you first walk in, that's when you see the ship and C-3PO and R2 in there kind of talking to each other.
Uh-huh.
Like there's no outside stuff for that at Disneyland in California. So when we saw it at Disney World this time, that was all new. So I'm like, fuck.
Oh, that's cool. Because we have a picture of Jeffrey. Like, actually, he's like underneath the AT-AT foot.
Uh-huh.
Like, we have a picture of him like he's being crushed by it.
Yeah.
Right? And that's, like, it reminded us, like, oh, yeah, remember that picture we took of Jeff?
Yeah.
Um,
But no, like the design of the outside is fucking awesome. And of course, it came out not long after Return of the Jedi. The original scenarios were Return of the Jedi based when, it first came out in the 80s.
Yeah.
So obviously it's a Return of the Jedi type of design. You got the Ewok village. You can hear Ewok noises coming from the village. And then you got the big fucking AT-AT right there.
Yeah. And he had at, like, shoots. Like, you hear noises, and you actually, if you watch the guns.
Yeah, the guns. Yeah.
The guns will go off. Yeah, it was, I guess, because I haven't, I don't have a memory of the one in Disneyland.
Yeah.
So, and the one for the Star Tours down in Florida has always had that.
Yeah.
So
Which,
I'm
that was
pretty-
all. That
I
was a
guess I'm
surprise to
spoiled.
me.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So anyway, continue.
Yeah. So we go inside, and yeah, it's the fucking R2 and 3PO show when you walk in.
Yeah.
As per usual.
Yeah, and that's a really good thing too that they do is they really keep the queue interesting because like especially in California back in the day, like that would be one of the longest waits in the park.
That makes sense.
So the ride queue really kind of keeps you entertained.
Yeah, and it's funny. I think Star Tours probably suffers the most from Galaxy's Edge existing.
Mm-hmm.
But like I think you were saying before I went, that just means you can get on it more.
Yeah. Like
Yeah.
I was more than fine with that because Kristen and I did it. I want to say 5 times while we were there, and
And it was
never waited longer than 10 minutes.
Was it the same scenario ever?
I don't think we got the exact same anytime. I mean, we did get some repeats, but yeah, we got a lot of different scenarios. And like I said before, I talked to a ride attendant as we were waiting, as we were about to go on. And I'm like, what's the deal with the scenarios? Do you guys pick them ahead of time? And she's like, no, it's random. It's like a slot machine. Like as soon as we hit go, it's just randomly generates.
Well, no shit.
Yeah.
Oh, that's really funny. Huh. So you could.
It doesn't matter where you go, like which ship you get into, left or right or anything. It's just random.
Completely random.
Yeah, from the moment you get into that ship.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was Kathy's first time, I think, in Star Tours.
Oh, nice.
So for her, it was just an experience.
Mm-hmm.
Get in it. It was a good warm up.
Yeah.
It was a good warm up for the rest of it. And 3PO was on point. The scenario we had, it started off, 3PO's in there working on shit that he's in. They fucking launch and they're not supposed to, or whatever.
Mhm.
But it had the Naboo elements on there.
Okay,
It
yeah.
had you know, it crossed across the
Like the trilogies. Yeah,
The
that I
trilogies.
have noticed before. Like
Yeah.
1 minute you're in Naboo, the other minute you're on that fucking salt world in The Last Jedi.
I don't think we went in the Salt World, did we? I don't remember.
Yeah, that's the only thing that kind of takes you out of it a little bit, but it's still a fucking blast.
Yeah, it was fun. Especially when TIE fighters are fucking blitzing by you.
Oh yeah.
And this is where the animatronic 3PO in the is awesome.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's
And of course it's what's his name's voice, because he'll take a check for doing 3PO's voice until the day he dies.
Yes, he will. Daniels will fucking take that money.
Yep.
So we went through Star Tours, came out into that fucking gift shop, and I'm like, let's not stop here because I don't want to fucking get sucked into this.
Oh yeah.
Because right over there is the entrance to fucking Galaxy's Edge.
Yeah.
So do we want to do like spoiler thing now, or
Well, before we do that, tell me what you thought about just Galaxy's Edge as a whole. We'll
Okay.
kind of just talk about the whole atmosphere, the immersion and all that, and then we'll go into like spoilers with the rides for anybody who doesn't want to
all right?
hear that.
So the level of immersion was more than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
Like the level of detail that went into it was fucking phenomenal.
Yeah. Like Chantal on the chat said she cried the first time she saw that life-size Millennium Falcon.
Yeah, you know, so when you walk in, obviously, you know, you don't have to. It's no secret what's sitting outside, right? There's X-wing. There's an A-wing. So what really drew, like, the first thing that really drew my attention in was that fucking A-wing.
Yeah.
And it's just an A-wing. It's parked on the ground, and the detail on it, the Aurebesh writing, the weathering, the ground equipment it's hooked up to, it just looks like it's hooked up, and all right, let's kick the APU on and fucking let's fly this thing. I mean, I could have stared at that all fucking day. Like I just wanted to hop the fence and fucking just get in it.
Yeah.
I was just like, man, if this is what everything is like, I'm just like, I was just like mouth agape at, because it reminded me of like, this is what, like when you see airplanes sitting on a fucking ramp hooked up to fucking ground power and shit, this is what it's like.
Yeah.
And I think that Air Force people or even Navy people that work around airplanes, you'll look at some shit like that and go like, yeah, this is
Yeah, like
this
they
is
got
what
some
it's
input
like.
from somebody.
Yeah,
who,
they had to have.
Yeah.
They had to have, because that's what it's like. That they nailed it. They fucking nailed that feeling. And that thing is right across the entrance to the Rise of Skywalker thing. So that just introduced me to this like level of immersion, and walking up the Black Spire, like the outpost,
Yeah.
and just you immediately feel like you're in Star Wars.
Yeah.
Like I can't speak enough about the level of immersion that you get. So when you're in the outpost and you go to that one eating area and it has the big fucking rocket engine that's like cooking,
Yeah.
and it has the rotisserie shit, and I'm just staring at it, and there's like heat coming off of it, and you're looking up, and all the pipes, the exhaust piping and everything else is like, okay, that would be fuel, and then this would be exhaust, and it like everything's connected to something, everything looks like it would work,
Yeah.
and it just I'm standing there taking pictures of it. My wife's talking to one of the people. We were trying to decide where we're going to eat. And yeah, I was just dumbfounded at how detailed it was. And then through that doorway was the Falcon. I could see the nacelles of the Falcon.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh my God. So then walking out and just seeing that, like the top down view, not all the way top, but like kind of like on the platform, kind of looking at
Yeah.
it like
Kind of
this.
level. Yeah.
And Kathy and I took a selfie with that in the background. And just kind of like looking around, like you had mentioned it, that when you're there, there's nothing else. There's no other part of Disney.
Yeah.
Like you can't see any other part of the park.
Nope.
The mountains and everything else. Let me speak. You want to know about a level of detail. When we're standing in Rise of the Resistance and we're next to a mountain. You know, you've heard us, if you've listened to the show at all, you've heard us talk about Battlefront 2015, right?
Yeah.
And how, I know me in particular, I'll walk up to like a wall of ice or something and look at it and just like
look at the detail.
Just look at the detail on the ice.
Yeah.
Well, so I'm doing this at the park and I'm looking at it's what's obviously like, what you know in your brain is like, okay, this is just concrete. This is just different layering of concrete.
Sure.
But it's made to look like, okay, this is a ferrous rock formation with oxidation on the outside and it has like lichen and some moss growing on it. But when you touch it, the moss, it's concrete.
Yeah.
But it looks perfect. And the oxidation that's on it, like the coloring for the oxidation looks appropriate. And you're looking at this ferrous rock formation that is perfectly stratified next to igneous rock that looks perfect and looks and feels perfect next to it. Like, I'm in line for a fucking ride. Why do you have this level of detail? Why am I looking at, like, I can interpret the type of fucking rock formation this is. There's no reason for that. But there it is. And that's like just a snippet of what the entirety of that area is like.
Yeah.
I couldn't find an area where I went like, that doesn't look right.
And I love how, like, too, there's like stone walls going up a step, like a stairwell or a stairway, and like on the other side of the wall is just like brush and stuff, and it's like, oh, okay, it's probably just nothing in it. But then you look over there and there's like old pipes or droid parts just laying around, and
Right.
you're like, whoa.
Airplane parts. Like, I'm walking around like, oh, that's a nose cowl of an engine.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh, look, there's a fucking turbine section. Like, they had all these airplane parts that were like kind of embedded into like rocks. Like, it had been there forever. Like the weathering and shit that they did, it was like, oh, you would not know.
Yeah.
Like, they spared no expense. Like, it's a Jurassic Park thing. Like, this is fucking Star Wars.
Yeah.
Again, the level of immersion.
Yeah, and I love the Kylo Ren shuttle when you go to the other side, and it's like the fucking life-size Kylo Ren shuttle, and they do shows on there where they'll have Kylo Ren come out and stormtroopers, and
Yeah, I didn't see when Kylo Ren came out. The one time they had a first order officer come out.
Mhm.
He was a big dude. Like, he was like an intimidating big dude.
And those officers, those actors that play those officers, they really get into character.
They do. On those guns again, you want to talk about the level of detail when you're looking at the like what's obviously metal, and for the guns on that ship, and then it has the scorching
Mhm.
from being fire. Like, there was laser fire coming out of it, so there's like the heat scorching on the outside, and it's just like it's like they made it in the fucking model shop, and then they just blew it up.
Yeah.
Like, it's appropriate that this is where Honey, I Shrunk the Kids used to be at some point. It's like, all I can tell you is that if you ever wanted to feel like you were a part of Star Wars, this is and you can't do the hotel like you did.
Yeah. Oh my God. You talk about immersion.
I can't even, like, I think I said it at one point, like, I can't imagine doing the hotel thing. If this is like this right now, I can't imagine being in a hotel.
Yeah.
I just can't.
It was pretty awesome. It's a shame they had to close it.
It's a shame. But that experience, like, when you're walking through and it wasn't even like the actors made it, like, just walking through Black Spire. It's not like there was anything so outwardly, like, that anything that people were doing.
Mm-hmm.
You were on set. You were like a part of the set.
Yeah.
And when you're going through like the market area, like, anything could have been happening, like, and you were just on camera.
Yeah.
And it was just truly remarkable. I'll say one more thing about the level of detail and why you need to get the Genie Pass if you go. Genie Pass to get Lightning Lane for Millennium Falcon, it's worth it just for that.
Yeah. Though it is a fucking racket too. They charge you like twice.
It is
once for the Genie Plus, once for the Lightning Lane. It's like, come on, guys.
I didn't have to pay extra for the Lightning.
Okay, maybe it's only certain rides that are like that,
Yeah.
but either way.
I didn't have to pay extra for the Lightning Lane. But you did pay for the Genie Pass.
Yeah.
Then also the Genie Pass unlocks you to have mobile ordering
Oh yeah.
for the restaurant.
Yep.
And we ate at Docking Bay 7. That food was fucking phenomenal. And being able to mobile order it, so all we had to do was like walk up to the door. She's like, "Okay, boop boop boop, check this in." They made our food. Like we waited 5 minutes.
Nice.
Went and picked up our food. I had this like tuna and sriracha poke bowl.
Oh, nice.
And Kathy had some spicy steak.
Sidebar, I've been eating a lot of poke bowls lately. I didn't know what one of those was until like 3 months ago. And then I went to Wegmans for lunch one day and I got one. And now that's like all I eat every Wednesday it's Wegmans Wednesdays.
Nice.
At work is I go to Wegmans and get a poke bowl.
Man, I wish I worked closer to Wegmans.
Yeah.
I wish they built a Wegmans closer to me. Wegmans sushi is good.
Yeah. But I digress.
Anyway, I'm going to be hungry when I get home.
So the Genie app.
Anyway, doing the mobile ordering, totally worth it because you're not wasting time standing in line for food.
Yeah.
Like you do the ordering, it tells you come between these times. You show up, they check you in, you walk, and you got your food.
Yep.
It's fucking great. And the food was delicious. And I think we were talking about it off camera, but the any kind of dietary issues that you have, fucking Disney's got you covered.
Yeah.
Like no issues there. So we ate, and then after we ate, we walked down to the Falcon because I wanted to like just oogle at it before we went into to do the lightsaber build.
Mm-hmm.
And the one thing that Kathy wanted to do is she wanted to see Rey. Like she's into Rey.
Yeah. And they typically have pretty good actresses that like do Rey walking around the outpost.
So she had asked the one kid when we were going into the restaurant, like, about like when Rey would potentially, like, does Rey come by here? And he kind of gave us an idea like when she would go by.
Mm-hmm.
And we saw her, but she was like heading towards a break.
Mm.
So we kind of missed her. And Kathy was a little disappointed. But I'm like, hey, we just got here. Like she's gonna be floating by here. I was like, they do a thing down over by the First Order stuff. We'll probably see her there. Like, don't worry about it. We're gonna see her. So anyway, that becomes relevant later. So I'm putzing around down in fucking down at the Falcon, just taking pictures and shit. Then we go try and check into the lightsaber. Like, we can only check in 15 minutes early. Fuck, okay.
Yeah, we did the same thing. I tried to get in early and they're like, nope.
Yeah, nope. We're like, okay, fine. So I wandered off and was fucking staring at all the shit that was in the speeder garage.
Oh yeah.
Like identifying parts. I'm like, oh, here's this part. Like, oh, that's a fucking manifold for here's a carburetor for this. Here's a manifold for that. Here's just stupid shit. But I went into the data pad on the Play app, and I went to the data pad and started hacking droids.
Yeah, because you can do that.
Yeah, and making the droids go off. But unfortunately, again, this is a battery sync because now once I have that enabled, it's like following me everywhere, trying to connect to droids and like, okay, this thing is going, or did you scan that?
Right, because there's a million things to scan around there, and they'll give you like the whole breakdown of what it is and its history. And
oh, by the way, if you ever have an idea, like, hey, after the military is done with their stuff, like, what do they do with it? I can tell you what they do with it. They send it to fucking Star Wars for shit because there was more fucking cases, boxes, containers, cases, fucking RTs, audio control panels, like off of old shit, like random military surplus, old Pelican boxes, like all those containers that you see in Star Wars. That's all military surplus. all of it. Like shit, whatever was in there. Like, oh, that was a fucking. Yeah, it looks like they had cases from old GTF 6s. Remember the GTF 6?
Yeah. But again, don't let that, dissuade you. Like it's still...
No. I'm telling you, it's awesome. It's awesome because that's where that shit's going. It's going to a valuable cause. It's not going to some foreign military. It's like it's going to legit, like they're treating it, and then sometimes they're not. Like in the Rise Resistance ride, I found an RT that still had the NSN number on it. Like it was still like, this is just what it is.
That's
I'm
funny.
like, that's just a fucking part.
Yeah. So, go ahead.
Oh yeah. Anyway, the hacking droids, and then we get into the lightsaber build.
All right. So this is the point I think where we need to issue a formal spoiler alert.
Well,
because
I think we should reveal the lightsaber.
Okay, we'll reveal the lightsaber and then we'll talk about the whole lightsaber experience, which is part of the spoilers. Yeah. So, but yeah, we knew Dave was going to go make his own lightsaber. I've made a couple now, and I can't wait to see what Dave came up with for his.
So when you first go in there, they're like, I've been thinking about it. Like, what the fuck am I going to build? Right? Because the kid at McDonald's was like telling me all these different options. Jason was telling me all the options that he just went through.
Mm-hmm.
Where the fuck is it? There it is. So just to peek behind the curtain, the only thing I brought into this, like that's visible in the studio, is the blade.
Yeah.
I got the other thing, the hilt.
Don't tell me what color crystal you got though. I want to see it when you ignite this.
No, obviously. So I'm like, I was struggling. I'm like, what feeling am I really going for? And when they hand you like this Waffle House menu, of like, okay, here's your options, and they give you like 4 options.
Yeah, there's 4 options. It's like the normal Jedi style, the Sith style, the like elemental style, and then the High Republic, which is the one I built last time.
So I it's just, I went into it. I'm like, I don't know. I was feeling, I didn't have a fucking clear goal of what I wanted, because I just was like, I kind of wanted to see what would happen. I wanted to see what would happen when I got there.
Yeah.
Like legitimately, I was like, where's the Force going to take me? Like as fucking nerdy as that is.
And nothing wrong with that.
Really, that's what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
So, and I did. I was like, okay, I'm going with this option, right? So when I went in there, and this is what I built.
Ooh, hold on. Let's show the people first. God, I love how fucking heavy these things are.
They're
just like a metal.
It's not it's not magnetic, so it's all like just heavy aluminum.
It's very, it's sort of Vader-esque, but not really.
Yeah, so it has a lot of like.
I see you have constructed a new lightsaber.
Right. I went with, I wanted.
It's the classic style.
It's classic. I wanted to go with the classics. And this just has such a smooth.
My penis is so smooth.
It has such a smooth shaft, and it's so long and thick. Yeah. I went with a very, very what would seem to be basic, but I think
it's very unique.
I think classic style.
It's classic style, but it is unique. Like, that.
And everything matches. Like I didn't get, the only thing that really has that, because the gold color, this was like Peace and Justice.
Yeah.
Was the grouping.
Okay.
And so I did the Peace and Justice. And once I got in there, and when I started to assemble it, I'm like, there was options for the emitter, and like, so you have, it's not like, oh, hey, here's you chose Peace and Justice, then boop, here's the what you're building.
Yeah, no, you get like 5 different options.
Yeah, you get options inside of that to
Yeah.
be able to put this together and make your own unique thing. So this is what I built. So now,
Yeah, now we got to see what color you went with.
so yeah, this was tough.
Yeah, just pick it. Now, the beauty of the Kyber crystal is you can change those out.
Right. And I did buy another Kyber crystal.
Okay.
I did. Only one though.
Yeah.
So are we ready?
Yeah.
Do we?
Big reveal. Drum roll.
Yep.
Ah, very nice. It's kind of hard to see on the YouTube, but this is green.
Yes.
It is the green Kyber.
It is classic Luke.
Yeah.
The bonus of this was I didn't realize that if you listen, it's the same ignition.
Yeah. Yeah. As the green one is Luke's.
Yeah.
Yeah. The meow.
So, I know what's really fucking cool is that when you're
All right.
When
Just had
you-
to do that for a second.
when you change out the Kyber, it changes the sound,
Yeah, the ignition noise.
the ignition noise, the color, everything.
Yeah.
So I bought a red Kyber, and obviously I installed it once and put it in. But yeah, it's dude. I will say that it's not spoiler free. For this part of it, it was fucking amazing. It was really cool. I mean, it's expensive, but it's an experience.
Right, because it's not just, and this is why we said spoiler alert coming up, but it's not just you go in, they give you a bunch of pieces, and you make a lightsaber.
Right.
Right.
It's an experience.
Yes.
And I mean, if you just want to throw a lightsaber together, like, you know,
Yeah, they have the cheap build your own lightsabers
right.
in the other stores too.
They do. And you can buy complete ones.
Yeah, and then they've got the style that we have. These these
Yeah.
ones that we've been playing with since 2015. The
Yeah, these guys.
yeah, that are still good. They're plastic obviously, but I
Right.
mean, they make the ignition and they clash and
Vibrate.
yeah.
Like these have their qualities.
Yeah.
But
And they're
this-
far cheaper.
But this is this is a showpiece.
Yeah.
And I still cherish my Black Series one because that is Vader's saber,
Of course, yeah.
right? But this one is mine,
Yeah.
right? So I'm gonna weather it a little bit. I'm gonna really look into how to make this my
Like
own.
look used.
Yeah,
Okay.
and there's some when you're assembling it, there's some looseness here that I'm going to figure out how to
Yeah.
how to make better. But not like it's going to fall apart, but it's like I'm just going to make that a little bit more solid.
Yep.
But yeah, I went with green, and honestly, I went with green because 1983.
Mm-hmm.
Going and standing in line to see Return of the Jedi, I was all about Luke.
Yeah. That green color was unique at the time because
Yeah.
before that we'd only seen blue and red.
It jumped off the screen.
Yeah.
That color lightsaber just jumped off the movie screen, and it always just it always stuck with me.
Yeah.
And even though Luke's saber isn't necessarily my favorite, but there's elements of it just as it sticks in a core memory, and that's what this is all about, right? This is all about nostalgia.
Yeah.
Right, when I'm walking through the whole thing and just thinking about Star Wars, just even Disney in general, but it was fucking awesome.
It's why I'm obsessed with that Return of the Jedi 40th anniversary stuff.
Yeah.
That's why I can't get enough of it.
Yeah, that was. I mean, honestly, our real introduction to fucking Star Wars was Jedi.
Yeah.
From toys and everything else. So that was that.
Now can we go into spoilers?
Now we can go into spoilers, but I think I want to take a pee break first.
Okay, so Dave's going to take a quick pee break, and then we're going to come back and talk all kinds of spoilers
Right.
after these words.
The sake.
from our sponsors.
The sacred Jedi.
And that's our new break sound. So, to recap real quick, I'm going to show you guys, since Dave was talking about his build your own lightsaber, I'm going to show you the one that I built again. This was the very first one I did last year when I went to the hotel and got to go to Galaxy's Edge. This is a Sith one. Obviously, I went with a Sith style as my first lightsaber because, you know, it's me. But I didn't go with a red kyber crystal. Instead, I went with purple. So it kind of a sort of a Revan-esque feel to it. You know, dark, but it's got the purple blade. Just so cool. And then this year, where the hell did it go? Shit. Oh my god. Lightsabers are igniting. Okay. So, this is the one I built this year in the High Republic style, which I really love this one. And I had initially got a green kyber crystal for it, but I switched it out for a yellow one because I think the yellow just looks better in this style. Sounds cool too. So yeah, that's that for the sabers. But oh, we're gonna turn RJ back on. Hopefully next time Dave gets to build his own droid too. Shit. Did I turn it off? Hope the batteries didn't run out. You know what? I should probably pee too. All right. I'm going to go real quick and then we can resume.
Man, I had to go.
We don't normally take breaks mid-show anymore either.
No, the Diet Cokes are flowing freely. Which, by the way, thank God Disney is a palace of Coke and not, well, you know, Coke the drink, not. Well, it could be a palace of Coke also. I mean, I don't know, but oh my God, it's so fucking cool. No idea. You have no idea. If you haven't handled one of these and you have the Black Series, how many colors they offer? So they have. No, I didn't go to the Coke store. This was the itinerary for this trip was very regimented.
Okay. We ready?
Yes.
If you're ready, give us a countdown. And we're back. So now we're getting into spoiler talk because for a lot of these experiences, the rides, the build your own lightsaber, there's an element to it that if you haven't done it before, you probably don't want it spoiled.
Right.
Be it certain aspects of the rides or, you know, whatnot. So we are now giving the spoiler warning. If you don't want to be spoiled, this would probably be a good time to bail. But for those of you who have already had the experience or don't care, stick around and we'll get into the nitty gritty.
And honestly, like really, like seriously, I thought I made one. I made one already, but
What?
I'm going to make one right now. It's going to say,
A banner?
yeah.
Okay. Could have done this while I was peeing, but
I could have. But I just thought of it.
okay. There we go.
There it is.
All right, very good. In case somebody comes in.
In case somebody comes in.
Okay.
Like honestly, it's the don't blame us.
Right.
Don't blame us. We were warning you
Yes.
that this is we're telling you what's going to happen on the ride.
Yeah.
Even with that, even while we're telling you what it is, I could tell you exactly what's going to happen, and it's still
Oh, it's still gonna be awesome.
it's still going to be awesome.
Yeah.
Like honestly, I could tell you everything that's going to happen on a roller coaster, but until you actually get on it and feel it, you're not having the experience.
Yeah.
Each one, like we're going to talk about the Falcon and the Rise of Resistance ride in particular.
Yeah. But why don't we start with the lightsabers? Because
Yeah, oh yeah, and the lights.
because we were just talking about it, might as well finish that thought.
Yeah.
Because again, the lightsaber building is an experience. You
Yeah.
go, they lead you into a room. You have a specific station that you have to stand at,
Oh yeah,
and then either, well, for me it was a lady, but you have kind of your host, the person that's talking to everybody and explaining everything.
mine was some like Australian.
Okay. Yeah, mine was yeah, some woman. But yeah, they like, and they're in character. They're not just like Disney workers. These are people who work at Black Spire Outpost.
Yep.
And like, especially the narrator is telling you about like the history of the Jedi and the importance of the lightsaber and the importance of the kyber crystal, to the point where, ooh.
Did you not get the?
Oh
one of
yeah,
these?
the pin, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they put a like a badge on you.
Yeah, so they know which lightsaber build you got.
Right. So this one's for the Peace and Justice one.
Yeah.
And it's just part of what you're paying your $270 for.
Yeah, it's a nice pin.
It is. It is a nice pen.
Yeah, it probably cost you $20 buying it by itself.
Right.
And you know, she's explaining the importance of the lightsaber, and the lights are dimming, and nice. You know, at one point even Yoda comes on.
Yep.
And I'm pretty sure it was the guy who does the Yoda voice in Clone Wars that did this Yoda. I don't think it was Frank Oz, but it was still really good.
It was very good.
Yeah. And you know, she even talks, and while this person is talking, there's music going on. It's the
Right.
John Williams score.
Yeah, because the entire it's as part of the experience, like going through the story and everything else. Like there's a like crescendo to the whole thing. So
Yeah.
like the timing of the story that's being told, the music's kind of in the background. The music comes to a crescendo. And
Yeah, yeah. There's like
parts of the
cues,
stories.
and like whoever's doing this narration has to do it like at the right moments.
Yep.
You know, so that they hit the right spots with the.
Yeah,
the
and
music.
what's really funny is all of Star Wars ruined. What's really funny is like even the little like jokes, like there's these like little quips and jokes.
Mm-hmm.
He still did those and still had it in time.
Yeah.
Before we get any further, I just have to. So, did Kristen go in with you?
Yeah, she built her own.
Okay, so Kathy went in as my observer, right? Because you're allowed to have one observer in there with you.
Yeah.
And it was a whole thing where you like you go in and you have like all right, you have your credits that
Your multi-pass.
yeah, you have your credits that you go in with, and your observer has to be directly behind you, and you line up, and the whole narrative is like, hey, you're going into the store, and if you ever get caught with any of the stuff, this is just spare parts, because the First Order will fuck with you
Yeah.
if you say it's a lightsaber, right? So it's all part of the story, and you get into the thing, and Kathy was taking pictures and like videoing and stuff, and one of the guys that was in there, one of the
workers.
one of the they were called something, one of the helpers had noted to her, like, you look like you're as excited for him as he is, because honestly, like this was all her doing, like me being able to go and do this.
Mm-hmm.
And I am so lucky that this happened, to be able to go down and do this. Like
Yeah.
hopefully she's not listening, but it was amazing that I was able to go down and have this experience. And it was so cool that she was enjoying it with me.
Yeah.
Even though like she's not a huge Star Wars fan, and like she really didn't have anything to look forward to except for, trying to meet Rey. And the fact that like she was into it and got enjoyment out of it because I was enjoying it. Like it was awesome.
Yeah.
And I can't thank her enough, and I'm so lucky to have had this. And hopefully she's not listening, and if anybody tells her I said this, I'm going to deny it. So anyway.
And so like, did you?
So she was my observer. So as we were going in there and they were doing the narration and everything, she was kind of off behind me,
Mhm.
like taking pictures and stuff. And a couple of things in that room. One, did you notice where they took the kyber crystals out of? The vessel that it came out of.
Oh, it was like a
Like the big yellow.
like a container, right? Like a
Yeah,
like
so it had that container, and it came out of like it was like something out of Fallen Order, right? It was a big imperial. It was a big yellow imperial like container,
yeah.
and I recognized it immediately from the game.
Okay, I did not.
Like, I had direct eyes on it, like because I was on the corner,
Okay.
right? So they tell you like don't touch basically the silver edges,
Yeah.
right? They make it seem like oh those are live like blade edges. They don't tell you that; they just tell you not to touch it.
Mhm.
And you're in this room, and there's like the parts and everything, and it's very dark in there. But I'm looking directly at these yellow containers that have they're pulling the kyber things out of.
Yeah.
That
Those
if you're
cylinders, right?
Yeah, if you're in Fallen Order, like you're pulling these cylinders open to get like stims and power things out of.
Yeah. It
And
was the same thing.
Yeah, and I'm like, oh my god, it's so fucking cool. So I'm like waiting for them to move out of the way and me to get the opportunity to be able to take a fucking picture. I have it on my phone. I don't. It's locked, but
Yeah.
I just it was one of those little details that I was just like I'm just so enamored. I was so enamored with.
Mm-hmm. Spare no expense.
Spare no expense.
And like, did you like the end? Because you build it, you pick your kyber crystal, and they go through like she explains all the different color kyber crystals and who was famous for using that color.
Right.
And
So what they had, because somebody was asking in the chat about it, they have, the green, blue, yellow,
red, obviously.
red, and purple
Yeah.
are what are the crystals that were available.
Mm-hmm.
So those were the colors. I didn't see any other.
No, and I don't
color.
think you can even buy other colors in the store either.
No, because like this is how the when you buy a kyber crystal separate, that's what it looks like. And the ones they sell these with the gold caps, and those are the ones that work in the holocrons.
Oh yeah.
'Cause I
And that's
almost
a whole other thing too. They sell these holocrons. You can put the crystals in there, and it's
Oh my god!
it's
Thank God Kathy was there because God,
yeah.
so
Like I said, you can walk in there and spend a couple grand in minutes.
yeah.
And yeah.
We'll get to that here in a second.
So, but yeah, you put together the lightsaber, they do the kyber crystal and everything, and then you've got like the hilt and everything, but it doesn't have the blade attached. Then they take it from you, and that's when they put it into the enclosure to your right,
into the thing they told you not to touch on the right side.
which that's when they attach the blade
Right.
to it.
And they do like this ops check, like so they have the helpers that go by, and they're basically like making sure everything's like connected and tight.
Yeah.
And so you stick it in there.
My penis so smooth.
And what's amazing, like before they have you ignite it, like it's a whole thing, the crescendo, the music, and everything else. And then you go and you ignite it, so you see the color.
Yeah. Like, because they have everybody raise their hands, and at once she tells you to ignite, and then everybody ignites theirs at the same time.
Right. So you're holding it, and there was one kid who his didn't ignite.
Ah.
And they didn't stop, but the helpers were on that shit so fast.
Oh yeah.
They had that thing disassembled, and they had a new core and reassembled like in seconds.
Nice.
And so before he was even finished talking, they had him, boom, and he was able to fucking ignite before the rest of us
Like put yours down.
put ours down.
That's great.
Yeah, so they were Johnny on the spot with that because they wanted, they want everybody to have that experience.
Yeah.
And I was paying more attention to that, like watching them like go through the whole thing and take this apart, because it's not hard to take apart, but it's not like
It's
when
not
you're
quick.
it's not fast.
Yeah.
It's not designed to be taken apart quickly.
But these guys are like fucking
They're ninjas. They're
they're like
fucking
mechanics at the races, the guys that run out and do the fucking quick tire
Right.
changes, and
yeah, they're like a pit crew.
yeah, that's
Right?
what it is.
and yeah, they came in there, boom, boom, got the kid hooked up real quick, and of course he lit it, and it was red, which was great.
Yeah.
Um,
Now, I hate to do this, but it's already 7:35 and we haven't even talked about the rides yet, so I
Right.
think we need to keep moving.
yeah.
So you rode Millennium Falcon next, right?
Yes, we did. We had the Falcon at 2:00.
Yeah.
So we did. No, we did Rise Resistance next.
Oh, okay.
We left there because it's about 20 minutes for the lightsaber
Yeah.
experience. We left there. I looked at the wait time and I'm like, okay, we have the Falcon from between 2 and 3. So if the wait time was 125 minutes,
It's about right. Yeah.
and I said we can still make the Falcon,
Yeah.
within that timing for our lightning. So we're like, all right, fuck it, let's do it.
Yeah.
So we went over, got in line, and it's 125 minutes.
Yeah,
And,
it's rough.
And I will say the accuracy of their fucking timing is spot on because the couple of women in front of us that actually they set a timer
Mhm.
when they got in line, it was 126 minutes
That's great.
from the time they got in line to when we were standing in front of the door before it opened, and you open into the briefing area and then the ride starts.
Yeah.
The cool thing about the beginning as you're going into this ride, it's a long time to wait. It's
Yeah.
100% worth it. 100% worth it. 100%. They have shit for you to do. Like if you've got little kids and like go into the data pad, do the fucking interactive things that are in the data pad because they have shit for you to scan.
Yeah.
They have interactive like there's you can pick a light side or dark side mission and there's fucking people interacting with you. There's an Imperial officer that's like texting air quote and telling you, hey, look for this thing. What do you see? Where are you? Like locate this area on the map. Very cool. I couldn't stick with it. Like I didn't find it till like midway, and by that point I was like my back was hurting from standing.
Yeah.
Like getting old, but very awesome to have that stuff for kids to do.
Sure.
Like everyone's got phones, and if you're in line for that long, you need something to entertain yourself because you really didn't have anything going on in the queue until you got basically on top of the ride.
Yeah.
I loved seeing they had these the lockers with the flight suits in it.
Oh.
I took a bunch of pictures of that. I'll post that stuff online. I'll post it on the Cantina, or I'll send it to Kelly and have her post it. The pictures I took, but it's like of the flight suits and oxygen masks and shit. There's a couple of good ones of like the blasters and shit like that. Just random stuff that like the level of detail they put just into the queue.
Yeah.
All the wiring going in between like lights and shit was obviously not the real wiring. Like if you know anything about electricity, you know that's not the real wiring. But the way they had it wired up and going into fake boxes to make it look like, hey, this is the way this thing is wired up, it's fucking amazing.
Yeah.
Like everything was connected. Everything it connects to this audio control panel, probably like a fucking B-47 or something. All this shit's connected to something for no reason other than it's there to make you look at it and go like, holy shit, look at that.
Yeah.
That looks like it's supposed to be doing something. But then you get to the fucking briefing area,
Yeah.
and
So are we talking where the hologram Ray
Right.
comes on? Okay.
so then you got BB-8 in there, like he's buzzing around, and
Yep.
it's BB-8. It's a fucking full size BB-8. He's up there, fucking buzzing around.
Yep.
And then a holographic fucking Ray.
And it's actually Daisy Ridley.
Yes. And it's all that so it starts with Daisy Ridley, and then you see fucking Poe Dameron,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like all the fucking characters that you're gonna see. It's the people.
Yeah.
It's the Force Awakens characters. Now I don't know if they got Adam Driver to do Kylo Ren.
He did the voice.
Did he?
Yeah.
Okay. So they had this holographic image of Daisy Ridley, and holy fuck if it wasn't amazing looking.
Yeah, that hologram looks
It
really
had
good.
no business looking that good.
Yeah.
For the beginning, like the intro of a fucking ride, it had no business looking that good.
Yeah, no, it was phenomenal.
And I'm standing there going like, holy shit, look
And
at
all
this.
and all around you in that room, you're inside of a Star Wars building. There's shit to look at everywhere.
So you get that, and then you leave that area, and like Poe Dameron comes on, and he says, like, okay, we're getting ready. You load up on this transport, and I'll escort you.
Yeah.
Right, and then the doors open.
Which those transports, by the way, are the same ship that Leia was in Force Awakens when she landed.
Yeah, it has like the fucking weird. Yeah, I thought so. I'm like, where do I?
That's
I
that same.
recognize this ship.
At least it's the same style shuttle. It may not be the exact same one.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
But yeah, like you walk out into this courtyard, and you look to your right, and it's Poe Dameron's X-wing.
Yeah. Yeah, just right there. Just
right fucking there, going through its startup sequence, right? You're hearing the fucking engine starting, like BB-8's turning his head in there. You see it's like an animatronic Poe Dameron, like looking around in the cockpit, like the canopy's closed, but you could see like his head moving around in there.
Mm-hmm.
And now you're getting into the fucking transport.
Yep.
You get loaded up, and like Lieutenant Blake, I guess is his name, I think. Blake, something like that. But anyway, it's a Akbarian. What the fuck? What are they?
Mon Calamari.
Mon Calamari. Thank you. God damn it. I could not think of it. But a Mon Calamari fucking pilot is in the front.
Yep.
And Kathy and I were standing right at the front.
Oh, I always was in the back, so I would be looking at the screen in the back. I never saw the front.
I fucking was staring right at this dude. And I was.
It was animatronic, right?
It was animatronic.
Yeah.
And it was real as fuck. Like shit dangling down here moving. And I'm just like, and on the screens, like, so he had screens that he was looking at, and he's talking to Poe Dameron, and the animatronic guy is looking at the screen, flying the thing, and it's moving.
Yeah. And all the while, remember, this isn't even the actual ride yet.
Yeah, this is like, it's not a ride.
Yeah,
it's not a ride. This is a fucking experience.
Yeah,
Like,
it's an interactive experience at this point.
You've queued up to get into, like, this might as well just be the queue for the ride.
Yeah.
Like, you're not, you haven't gotten into the fucking, you haven't put the belt down and to fucking get on the ride yet.
Yeah.
Like, you're standing in this fucking pod, and it's moving until it gets fucking caught in the tractor beam.
Yep. Oh, first order.
Yep. And then fucking Hux's face comes on this fucking screen to bark at the Mon Calamari.
And it's that same actor that plays Hux.
Yeah, same fucking redheaded prick. And so you get dragged into the thing, and so the Mon Calamari, the Lieutenant Blake is like, "All right, you can't, you're gonna get interrogated. Can't tell them anything.
Right.
Don't tell them where the location of secret base is." Like, well, first of all, I don't know the location. Second of all, are we really getting interrogated? Like, my Spidey senses started tingling a little bit with the word interrogation.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, this is Disney. It can't be that bad. I thought that. Here's the problem with that line of thinking. When I was in survival school, I had the thought of, this is Air Force training. They can't possibly do that. And then they went ahead and did that, and then a bunch of other shit. So that line of thinking is, logic is flawed.
Yeah.
Anyway, so that's kind of in the back of my head.
So, refresh my memory. You get out, the shuttle gets captured. When you walk out, is that when you walk out and see all the stormtroopers?
Yes.
When you're walking
So
out of the
you
shuttle?
walk out into this fucking hangar,
Yeah.
and it's this space. Like, it is not just a, like, okay, here's this like small area where they've got projections.
No, it's fucking huge.
It's this warehouse size space
Yeah.
where there's, right in front of you is a giant screen of space.
Yeah.
Like,
It's like you're in the fucking hangar of a Star Destroyer and you're looking out.
It's space. There's a fucking Star Destroyer. There's TIE fighters flying around. You have this formation of fucking stormtroopers in front of you.
Yeah, kind of keeping you moving in the right direction.
They had one of those, that thing you end up riding later with the fucking droid tractor driver.
Yeah.
Is over here. There's some people about. There's some more stormtroopers. And then I'm like, holy fuck! Like you come out of this thing and you're just like, you can't help but get like almost the breath taken out of you by
Yeah.
just how big it is.
Yeah, that sight when you first come out of that shuttle and you see all the stormtroopers lined up and you see the big fucking hangar, you're just like, ah.
It is meant, and it is meant to just fucking take your breath away.
Yeah.
And they hurry you through that. Like
Yeah.
I was trying so hard, I'm like taking pictures.
Yeah, I
right?
did the same thing.
And I when you turn to the right, there's a fucking first order TIE fighter hanging on like in the saddle, like it was in the movie, just like in the movie.
Yep.
There's a full size fucking first order TIE fighter, like right there. Right there. I'm like, and I'm like, I couldn't believe it. I'm like trying to take pictures, and you're like, you're being moved into this area, and you just, Kathy and I tried to get a selfie, and it was like it was all blurred because we were moving.
Yeah.
And then they lead you down this hallway down to the interrogation area. I took a picture of the hallway. It's fucking immaculate.
Yeah.
The guy, there was a guy, a couple of people in front of me that had said, "Man, the First Order's got their shit together. This is nice in here."
And it's like it's just like you're inside of a First Order or an Empire building.
Yeah.
You know, it's that whole aesthetic all over.
It's pristine. You kind of turn a corner, and this is again like for those of you who have been to survival school, and they start like making you line up, like okay, line up here.
Yeah,
you
yeah,
get here.
because you go into this room and there are actors. Like it must be at least a dozen actors in
Yeah.
First Order uniforms.
Yep.
Like telling people where to go and being like, yeah, you line up over here, you line up
Yeah.
over here. You're gonna tell us where the base is.
Yeah,
and-
you stand here. This is the orange spots, and you're staying in this, and then you have to be in the orange spot when we tell you to.
yeah, because at this point you're a prisoner,
Yeah.
essentially.
So and you're kind of standing there, and I'm taking pictures of the walls because it's Empire walls.
Yeah.
The lighting on the wall, it's like Empire lighting, traditional Empire lighting.
Lots of Empire stuff.
Empire stuff, lots of Empire stuff, and I'm like, God, I want this aesthetic in my house right now. And they had the ports in the wall for like R2 plugging
yeah.
in, and
Oh, yeah.
I'm taking pictures of that. And when they got us into the position where they're like lining us up, and I'm like, how are they going to do this? Like, so I'm like problem solving in my brain because I'm like, how am I going to mitigate this interrogation, whatever that's going to look like? Because they have real actors getting us to this point.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I had no reason to believe there wasn't going to be a real person trying to interrogate us. And now I'm going to have to prevent me from not freaking the fuck out and disabling this individual, because that's the thing, unfortunately, for Dave.
yeah.
So I'm like, I'm processing that. And we get it to a point where it's like, okay, the door's open, everything.
Well, yeah, because they put you in a holding room after
Right.
that.
So now you're in a cell. You're with there's like 2, 4, 6. There's like 16 people in this room, and it's a fairly large room,
but it
it's
also
it's a
feels
cell.
and it's narrow too.
Right. It's like tapered at the back, so it gives you this feeling of closure.
Yeah.
And Hux comes up, or Kylo Ren first comes up. He's on like the balcony, and it's a screen.
Yeah.
But it's a really
It still
good,
looks good.
It looks fucking fantastic. And he's like, "You will tell me," and like he starts to like grab, like he's force grabbing, and the room just kind of like moves
Yeah.
around you, and you're like, "Okay, this is interesting." And then Hux comes in and says, "All right, you need it in the bridge." And he's like, "I'll come back for you later."
Yeah.
And then they fuck off. Then you're just you're standing in this room. You're standing in this room for like over a minute.
Yeah.
Nothing is happening. There's nobody watching you. There's no like nothing going on up there. There's no like you hear like Empire sounds.
Yep.
Empire stuff is happening, but like you're just left there to go, what the fuck is happening?
And
right
again,
now?
you're like what, 15 minutes into the experience at
Yeah.
this point,
Easily. Like you've crashed, you've been loaded up, and
and you're still not on a ride yet.
yeah. So the next thing you know, I'm standing across from the one wall,
Uh-huh.
and all of a sudden you get this like somebody's torch welding the door open,
Yeah.
a door open
Yeah.
in the side of the wall, and Kathy goes like, "What the?" like this out loud, and the fucking door gets cut open. It kind of she's over, and there's a dude, an actor. It's like, come on.
Because he's
Right.
with the resistance.
You're right.
He's
And now
breaking you out.
And now you're like, what the fuck? Like, it was you didn't expect it at all.
Yeah.
It's not
Like, that was my favorite part, is when they cut the hole in the side of the fucking
right
cell.
because you were standing there waiting for something.
Yeah.
And then that starts happening. You're like, what the fuck? And then it pops open. And you're like, come on. Of course, I get us into the wrong seat because Orange is supposed to be sitting in the back. So then the resistance guy's like, you're in the wrong seat. Get in the orange seat. And I'm like, okay. So fucking get into the seat.
And this is where you finally get on the
Now
ride
you're on
itself.
a ride. Now it's like, okay, buckle in, pull on the yellow thing to make sure you're fucking actually buckled in.
Yeah.
And now you're on a ride.
Yeah.
And I think for me, the best part of the ride was the when you're going through areas, like you pull up in this one spot, like the probe droid comes down. That was cool. I
Yeah.
think that's one of the first things you kind of you're zigging and zagging. You're moving through a ride.
Yeah. And
So-
the scenario is you're still on the Star Destroyer and you're trying to get off.
They're trying to get you off of the Star Destroyer. They've reprogrammed this fucking droid that's carting you around. And it starts to creep into your thoughts. How big is this fucking ride?
Yeah.
How much acreage have we covered?
Well,
to
then,
get to this point.
because you turn a corner and all of a sudden you're in a fucking hangar with a bunch of AT-ATs.
Yes, like 4 stories of AT-AT.
Yeah.
Like you're going underneath it, and you've probably seen pictures online at some point where like, oh, this is part of the ride. You can't possibly fathom the level of holy fuck. Like you can't. You're like frozen, like because you're underneath. You're going between the legs of this thing,
Yeah.
and you're looking up, and I'm like, this is it's there. It's there.
Yeah.
Like it. I couldn't believe it. Like you can't get your phone out to take pictures.
No,
Can't do any of that
it's,
shit.
it's going too fast at
just
that
like,
point.
what the fuck? And they're legit there. It's not like a projection. This is a 4-story fucking warehouse.
Yep.
That of volume that you're fucking in to go through the legs of. You know, stormtroopers are shooting you and shit's like exploding kind of around you.
Oh, yeah.
And you suddenly get on, I guess you're on an elevator or something, because I'm still staring at fucking AT-AT legs.
Yeah.
And they take you up on the elevator, and it brings you right into eye level of the AT-AT cockpit. And there's 2 fucking AT-AT pilots. They're like doing their pre-flight, and then they look at you, and they're like, "Hey!" And then you see him, and then the droid's like, and starts taking off. And then so behind you, you don't see it, but you hear the guns go off, and it fucking explodes in front of you.
Mhm.
And then like you kind of drop a little bit.
Well, so the drop was something else.
Well, no, that's another drop.
Yeah, okay.
But you kind of go like this.
Oh, okay,
because
yeah.
then you go in and you're like they drive you into the deck.
Yeah, because
Like,
you're on the bridge for a second.
right.
And you see, when I first saw the Kylo Ren and the Hux up there, I thought those were actors. I didn't realize those were animatronics.
Right.
They looked so fucking good.
Because they did such an they blended animatronic and screen and real, and like they didn't need to.
No.
They absolutely did not need to build a fucking Star Destroyer bridge
Yeah.
to show us this scene.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't need it.
No.
But there it was, and it was fucking cool. It was amazing.
Yeah.
It was absolutely ridiculous. Because then, like, they're talking like, "Oh, the prisoners escaping," and then Kylo Ren's like, "Oh, well, they're not going anywhere," or some shit like that. And he turns and looks at you, and then the fucking all of a sudden the droid like
Yeah.
turns around. Kylo Ren gets you later though, because again, it's an animatronic Ren.
Yep.
They stand in there, and he's like holding you in the Force, and the fucking room is like coming apart around you.
Yeah.
And you're like, God damn, this is fucking cool. But then the fucking they have a decompression, right? The window busts out.
Oh, yeah.
And then, so now like you get all this air like comes in. Now you're like, so you watch the window bust out, and now Ren loses a grip on you, but you have all this air blowing by you like they're like you just fucking had a rapid D.
Yeah.
And now so the droid gets you out of there, and you fucking load up into an escape pod.
Yeah.
On the Star Destroyer.
So this is, I'll tell you, I hate free fall rides.
Same.
Like, do not like them at all. So we get in there into the cargo bay, and I see them, this arm, like, pick up one and then just drop it down. And then another one, drop it down. I'm like, and then they pick you up, and then they move you out, and then, whoom.
I didn't even notice that.
Oh, you didn't see the other like,
No, because
cargo getting dropped?
I was looking out.
Yeah.
Like I was looking out at the other part of the ship, like because I was looking through the cockpit window or the escape pod window, and I was looking out at what was going on in space.
Mm-hmm.
Like I didn't even see that part. What I did see was the woman who was sitting in front of us. She reached out and kind of grabbed her kid.
Oh, like
right?
she knew something was
like
coming.
she knew something was coming. I'm like, uh-oh. So, and Kathy had said when we were going through another ride, she's like, hey, just grab my hand when you think, something's going to happen. So I grabbed her hand.
Uh-huh.
And then that's when the fucking free fall came.
Yeah. And thankfully it wasn't big.
No.
It was like 5 feet or something.
It was
like
the
that.
distance that we fucking took the elevator to go up and stare at the fucking AT-ATs in the face.
Yeah, but I'm freaking the fuck out because if you look to the side during that part, yeah, you can see them grabbing cargo and then they just dropping it and it free falls and I'm like, fuck. And then they grab you and I'm like, ah! And then you do the free fall. And again, it was
was not that
nothing,
bad.
but it was fun.
But it goes into like you have the visualization of you coming like into Atmo and flying down into the fucking planet and crashing around and shit.
Yeah.
And then that pretty much takes you right to the end of the ride.
Right, but then as you're ending, you see the fucking Mon Calamari guy up
Right.
there again, a fucking incredible animatronic.
Right. He's in there. The fucking cockpit lights are fucking blinking
Yeah.
on and off. And then you're at the end and you get off the ride and you're basically getting out right where you got on. And all I could do was look back. Like Kathy, as we're coming out of it, goes, that was the most amazing ride I've ever been on.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, like I can't think of anything that I've been on that would be anywhere near that.
Yeah, it was unbelievable.
And-
And it's, again, an experience. It's
an
not just like, oh, I'm at the front of the line, go sit down, click, click, and then you go on your
No.
ride. No.
No. This is
That's only half of it.
the fact that you have actors and like all these actors have to reset at some point and then they're funneling these people through. And the fact that it's only 125 minutes to fucking get through this thing.
Yeah.
Like to get all those people reset and everything else, it's fucking unreal.
Yeah.
It's unreal. And then when you get off and you come out of the ride right where you got on, and I'm looking back at the fucking mountains, right? Because you can't see anything else. It's like you're looking at Disney Mountain, like Black Spire.
Yeah.
Like, where the fuck did they hide all this ride? Where did we covered so much area? Where the fuck were they hiding all that?
No idea.
Because they had these huge volumes for fucking the hangar, the fucking AT-ATs, and like I know you get creative with how you make distance and spacing and everything else.
Sure.
But shit.
it still requires quite a bit of space to do what they did.
Yeah, it was unbelievable. It was unfucking believable. You can't. Somebody told me that the Guardians of the Galaxy ride is better than that.
No, definitely not. It's a roller coaster, first of all. Guardians of the Galaxy is primarily a roller coaster that does some unique things that roller coasters don't normally do, but it's nowhere near Rise of the Resistance.
Yeah, somebody told me today. I'm like, okay. No, this is Star Wars.
Yeah.
For a Star Wars person to go through this, if you didn't already feel like you were in the fucking universe and you were part of the galaxy, you're gone to today.
Yeah.
Because dude, it was amazing. It was absolutely amazing. It was worth lugging my fucking 3.5 pound lightsaber all through the line.
Yeah.
And dude, it was great.
Yeah.
It was great. And then we walked off of that and we're like, okay, let's go right onto the Falcon.
Mm-hmm.
And so we talked about this, I think, on the show.
Like
That-
the different positions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I know you guys had talked about be an engineer. Right. And John had said the same thing, be an engineer.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I I have to be a pilot
Right.
first because it's me. And Kathy was like, I don't know. I don't care. Like one way or the other. So we get in the queue and the lightning lane. So we weren't in line for very long. Dude, again, level of fucking.
When you're walking through the actual Millennium Falcon inside, yeah.
And you're going through these hallways and you're like, this.
You feel like you're on a movie set.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
you feel like they filmed Star Wars in this room.
Yeah. When you get into that main room before you go into the tunnel to get down to the cockpit,
Yeah.
and you're looking at the Zarek table
Yeah.
and the couch and the fucking, you expect the box lunch to be there where fucking Han was eating,
Yeah.
at the nav table, and then you look behind the couch and there's like a box with the
training probe.
the training probe
Yeah.
and the fucking helmet is sitting there.
Yeah.
And you're just like, I want to spend 24 hours in this room
Yeah. Oh
and,
yeah.
and just absorb it. And you don't have time.
Yeah, but
Because they are fucking cattle prodding people through all this stuff.
Though I did sit at the table at the chessboard and had got a quick picture taken.
Unfortunately, I didn't get that chance
That's
because
too bad.
so what ended up happening was we were last in that group, and so we would have been the engineers,
Mhm.
and I was like, that's fine, whatever, it is what it is. The chips fell where they may,
Mhm.
and still have fun.
Yeah.
I would just covet the entire time, wanting to be up front
Right.
and hate those people that were in front of me. However, my wife, being the amazing person she is, she had said to those people like, "Hey, my husband was actually really interested in being in a pilot position,"
Mm-hmm.
and they're like, "Oh, really? Yeah, come on, we'll swap." And they fucking swapped. They're like, "Oh yeah, we've been on this ride before. We've
Oh,
been on it
shit.
a bunch of times." Like, yeah, come on up.
Oh,
Yes.
So you got to fly.
Yep.
Were you left seat or right seat?
I was left seat,
Okay.
and Kathy was right seat.
Yeah.
And oh my god, she had no idea. Like it was having to work. She's like the up and down, and she's like down, like the whole time. It was like down the whole time. And I'm like, I'm trying to fucking get us through, like navigating through the fucking, chasing the train down.
Yeah.
And I'm trying my very hardest not to fucking crash because it annoys me every time.
Yeah.
And they're furiously pushing buttons behind me.
Yep.
It was a blast. I would have loved to have gone through it like 3 or 4 more times.
Yeah.
And gotten through all the positions. But it just once was enough.
You got to fly it though.
I got to fly it, and it was fucking great. And then I turned around as we were leaving, and I got a couple pictures of the cockpit,
Nice.
and it was. I mean, obviously, it's not the same level of detail as the movie set would be,
No, not in the cockpit.
but it's pretty fucking cool.
Yeah.
And the Falcon itself, like the ride notwithstanding, the ride's fun. It's relatively short.
Yeah, it's a motion ride. It is what it is. Like
Yeah.
the experience is like doing your position and trying to do it well and get a high score at the
Right.
end.
Does it motion?
Yeah.
There is motion to it.
You didn't feel the motion of the fucking ride the whole time?
So here's the problem. Like when Dave goes into pilot mode, Dave is in pilot mode.
The
And
whole world is
if I'm actively controlling something like that, then I don't like that motion sense goes away.
yeah. I could see that.
So I didn't
Yeah.
like maybe a couple times I did. But
Okay.
I didn't really notice it that much.
Yeah. Well, either way, yeah. I mean, the ride itself is kind of it's fine. Well, okay, it's still really good if you're a Star Wars fan, but I love just walking through the corridors of the Falcon.
Yeah,
Like,
coming off of Rise of Resistance, though, you're just like, you're walking through the Falcon, even walking behind the engine area, like as you're coming through the lightning lane, you're like walking behind the engines
yeah, which is
of
pretty
the
cool.
Falcon. That's awesome. I got a couple pictures of that. The Falcon is fucking awesome.
The inside.
No,
Or you're
I'm
talking
talking
about
about the
outside?
outside.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Like the level of fucking detail, man. I was just stood there taking pictures of it
Yeah.
for So anyway, let me. Falcon ride was great. So we got out of that, and we kind of wandered around. We popped into the cantina. We didn't go
Go's Cantina.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Kathy asked them, "Hey, can we?" Again, this is my wife working her magic.
Yep.
She's like, "Hey, can we just pop in and just take a look?"
Yeah.
And so they let us go in.
And
It was right when the fucking the hyperdrive went out. So the girl brought us in. She's like, "Oh, you guys came in a perfect time." I'm like, why? And like, the hyperdrive went out, so they're like hitting it with a fucking mallet, which I thought was great.
Yeah.
And she wasn't gentle with that too. That was like she was beating on that fucking thing. Like, man, I don't know how long that's gonna last if she's fucking
Right.
you're hitting like that for real. But it was a hyperdrive. Like when you looked at it, I was like, that looks like a hyperdrive. Like I've seen that. Like it makes sense.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Like everything you looked at, everything you heard, like sitting in a restaurant listening to sounds, like they weren't just sounds and pipe noises and fans. It was Star Wars sounds.
Yeah.
You can't describe it. Like when you're just randomly looking at shit and you're hearing starships fly by, you're like looking up to see them like where they are.
Yeah. It's an immersive experience. Like
They're
everywhere. Like the whole area.
the whole goddamn thing.
Yeah.
So anyway, we get out of there and I go up to the trading post, right? Because I wanted to get this guy.
Yeah.
I was like, I have to get another Kyber crystal.
So did you go into what's his name shop? The Hammerhead guy?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, which was really cool. I took a bunch of pictures of shit on the wall.
Yeah. Oh god, the stuff on the walls is incredible.
Yeah. And I really wish I could have stood there and like looked at more of the lightsabers that they had,
Yeah.
like the pre-made ones, because some of those were fucking really, really nice. But yeah, I can totally see how that could get really expensive really fast.
Oh yeah. Especially in that store. That store has like the premium shit in it.
Yeah, they were selling like they had credits, like you can buy Imperial credits, in there. Like I was looking at that going, I really want that.
Credits will do fine.
I'm not going to though. I'm going to restrain myself. So Kathy was in there for a second, and then she's like, "Hey, I'm going to wait outside." I'm like, "Okay, that's fine." Because I was trying to do the mobile checkout to buy this, but there's no barcode on it, so I ended up having to wait in line.
Yeah.
Wait in the wrong line. and
Yeah,
then it's
that,
like,
that happened to me too.
Yeah.
I waited in the main line where they had the saber. They're like, no, you got to check out over there.
right. I'm like, God damn it. So anyway, it just gave me more time to look around in the fucking room.
Yeah.
And so I come out, and Kathy's like, Did you look at your phone? I'm like, no, I was in there. What? And she's like, I saw Ray.
Oh shit.
I'm like, oh yeah.
Just out walking around.
So here's what happened. So she was standing outside the store looking at her phone, and she had the lightsaber in the carry-all or whatever.
Yeah.
And somebody walks up to her and says, "What color is your lightsaber?" And she looks up, and it's Ray.
Really?
Ray came up to her
Wow.
and asked her what color her lightsaber was. And she's like, green. And she's like, oh, good. and it was just, I forget the rest of the conversation.
Did she get a selfie with her?
Oh, yeah. She got a picture.
Nice.
And yeah, so she was so happy
Oh, that's awesome.
when I came out. I'm like, how cool is it, though? She was looking for Ray
Mm-hmm.
the whole time. And then as she was just standing there, Ray came up to her
That's so cool.
and initiated that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll post the picture. I'll post the picture for perpetuity. But yeah, that was really cool. And the characters walking up and like asking something like that, that theme was all over the park, not just like the actors, but like in the airport, because you shipped all your stuff back, right?
Yep.
So I carried this motherfucker through the airport,
Oh yeah.
right? Never got stopped once.
Oh,
Like
okay.
it was, dude, no issues at all.
Very cool.
What I ended up doing though,
Well,
is,
yeah, they see thousands of them a day, I'm sure.
yeah, what I ended up doing is I left this in the
The
in the
carrying
case.
Yeah.
because this fits in the overhead pretty easy,
Yeah.
and then just put this in my backpack.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, dude, I had no issues at all bringing it through the thing.
Perfect.
But yeah, I heard Ray coming up and asking, what color is your lightsaber, and then we were walking around the park, and we took it with us into Magic Kingdom, and people walking up like, oh, what color?
Nice.
And it was a cool. It was a cool thing. It was a cool connection, like with Star Wars people.
Yeah, and that's another thing. As you're walking around the park and you're waiting in line queues with other people, a majority of the time you're just surrounded by other hardcore Star Wars fans.
Yeah.
And that's another great part of it. Like when we went into Oga's Cantina, we sat in at a table with a bunch of people that were just like all hardcore Star Wars fans. They were in all Star Wars, outfits and everything, and the only thing better than going to experience a Star Wars thing is experience it with other huge fans.
Yeah. I remember when I was standing there in the shop, Hammerhead shop,
Yeah.
and Darnarks or whatever.
Let's see. I can't read it from here. What the hell?
Somebody's lightsaber turned on.
Yeah, one of the Ahsoka blades. Oh, and it's off.
The only thing that was great, the only thing, but something that was great was standing there taking pictures, and like the woman next to me standing there also taking pictures of the same shit.
Yeah.
Like, because there was so much stuff on the walls, so much random shit just out in the areas. Like, I got a picture of a TIE pilot helmet. It was in like a container outside of one of the shops.
Yeah, that's another thing too. Is
Yeah.
they just have these random containers with like shit like that in
Yeah.
it.
There was an E11 blaster and a TIE pilot helmet that was like, it was weathered to show like it had been dug out from somewhere or whatever. But it's my fucking TIE pilot helmet. It's like the same exact mold.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just like in this thing. I'm like, oh my God, there it is. It was like there was a Mandalorian jetpack in there. It was just
Yeah. So,
crazy.
Needless to say, now we're kind of rushing because we're over time, but yeah, I think it's safe to say any Star Wars fan would be in just pure heaven at Galaxy's Edge.
No, the only thing I was disappointed in,
Mm-hmm.
was the shops. I wanted just a regular Star Wars T-shirt.
Yeah, but they have all kinds of specialty stuff.
Yeah, I would have liked, like, they were obviously like, there's a lot of Black Spire stuff. They had First Order things. It was mainly, it was like Force Awakens based.
Yeah,
I didn't necessarily have a problem with.
Yeah, it's all based on, well, not necessarily Force Awakens specific, but the sequels.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, the Rey that was walking around was like Force Awakens Rey.
Oh, okay.
It was, but regardless of that, I didn't have a problem with the time period. I felt like the merchandising, like the Star Tours merchandising was more inclusive of the entire like
The whole saga.
the whole saga.
Yeah.
Whereas the stuff in the park, I think,
Yeah,
was
they
a little lacking.
Yeah, they focus a little bit much on the sequels, but I mean,
It's not even the whole, but even that, it's not even the whole sequels. I just would have liked more of a variety. Like, even if it was on the outer edges somewhere else in the park, or even in Magic Kingdom, because I didn't even get a chance to talk about the fucking fireworks show at Magic Kingdom. Holy fucking shit.
yeah.
Like, I hadn't seen that one in 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
So all the shit they were doing to like do the projection onto the castle to change it,
Mm-hmm.
so it looks like different castles. Holy shit!
Yeah.
It was fucking amazing.
They're pretty ingenious with
It was, dude. It was. Remember how I said like, oh, ho hum, fucking fireworks, whatever. Like that Magic Kingdom show, fucking balling.
Mm-hmm.
It was totally worth sitting there.
Yeah, especially when they shoot fireworks in the shape of a heart in the sky, and you're like, how the fuck do they do that?
Dude, the Heartfire, dude. Magic Kingdom. I went on a Carousel of Progress because I have to every time I go there.
Yeah.
Because animatronics, right? What we saw in Rise of Skywalker that made it so real started with fucking Walt in the 30s and 40s with how he was making animatronics. And like the things he was doing with a guy and recording it on fucking magnetic tape to be able to play back to make that fucking carousel work.
Yeah.
Like, and the fact that we can still make animatronics realistic today. Like, I hope that carousel never fucking gets tore down.
I think that's one of those ones that'll be eternal. They might,
Because otherwise, how are
fix it
kids
up.
going to know, like, this is what all the shit. CGI is trying to get back to this level of realism.
yeah.
Right? There was a lot of CGI in Rise of Skywalker, but not really. Not really.
Eh.
Like, there was a lot of, like, what made that so amazing.
You mean
was
Rise of the Resistance?
Rise of Resistance, sorry. What made that so amazing was fucking the real.
Yeah.
The fact that how real it was.
Yeah, because a majority of what you were looking at was real shit, not screens.
Yep.
So, all right. It's, hey, look who it is.
I'm just gonna pop in.
Oh, well.
Who's this little guy?
Oh, this is our next member of the show.
Newest?
RJ.
Newest? You were looking for the word newest.
Yeah, sorry, I took my pills.
Yeah, it's been a minute since I've been here.
Yeah, so welcome back.
Yeah, it'd be nice if there was a fucking review to be
Yeah.
able to go, but no.
No, there's definitely not.
Yeah.
But an appearance was promised, and
Yeah.
here you are.
Yeah, here he is, or here I am.
Right.
Here's this guy. Oh yeah, I'm sexy, aren't I? Do I do it for you? No.
My penis so smooth.
Yeah, your penis so small, huh? Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah. Hey, fuck you, tough guy.
So, are you going to read our
Yeah,
our ending notes today?
I'll do the reads.
Okay.
Because that's what I do when I do the things, right? My hair's a mess today. What the fuck did... It's been a minute. It's been a hot minute. I'm surprised I can even do the voice, to be honest.
Yeah, it has been a while.
It's been
so,
a hot... yeah, I'm surprised it turned on.
yeah.
Turned on like this RJ. Are you going to interrupt me the whole time? That's what I thought. So, let's see. On ATSW Family Happenings. Can you see me? Can everyone see me? Hello?
Yeah.
Hello? Is this thing on? I see you. I see you moving. On Wednesday, Snooch, Big Lovin', and Dragon Buddy will be discussing gaming. What's out, what they're playing, and what they're looking forward to, etc. Catch ATS. What's that? What's that noise?
I have no idea.
Something fell. Hello?
I don't know.
Who's coming after us? I may or may not be wanted for murder. I was here the entire time. Jason, listen to me.
Oh.
The entire time.
Sure.
I was here the entire time.
Okay, you got it.
I was not... Yeah? Anyway, so what's Snooch, Big Lovin', and Dragon Buddy will be discussing gaming, what's out, what they're playing, what they're looking forward to. Catch us ATSW, the Escape Pod live, 1905, 7:05 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time on the YouTubes. And now that I've made an appearance, I'm sure there'll be plenty of like, the Hennifer is like the poison of the hand or something for Dave.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure that shit'll come back. So yeah, thank you. You're
Yeah.
welcome for your content.
Yeah, you were sorely missed.
This Saturday, Donda, Snooch, and Lunar Girl will continue their first watch journey of Stranger Things, their review of season 4, chapter 2, Vecna's Curse. Vecna's Curse, Vagina's Curse.
Yeah, I got nothing.
Tune in to Stranger Things Has Happened at 1900, 7 p.m. Eastern on YouTube. Oh, do you want to hear something funny?
Sure.
So, you know how we, like, normal people, they look at the time and they go like, oh, it's 1900, so that means it's, 7 p.m.,
Sure.
right?
Yep.
So somebody when they were getting ready to check in for their flight on Friday was like, "Oh, I'm going to check in for 24 hours prior." And he was trying to check in, and it was like, "No, you can't check in yet because it's not 24 hours."
Oh, he was
then,
going.
And then he was like, "Why? It's definitely 24 hours because it's supposed to be 9 a.m. flight."
Sure.
Well, guess what? It wasn't 9 a.m. It was 9 p.m. because dumbass is so used to looking at 2100, not 0900. He saw 9 o'clock and was like, "Oh, this is 9 a.m. flight. Yay!" Yeah.
So the thought of 9 p.m. didn't even occur to him.
Apparently not.
Oh.
So there was a change in flights, and they got a 4 o'clock or 1600 flight
Was this on the day of?
on the same day.
Okay.
Same day.
Yeah.
But yeah, we left the hotel, or they left the hotel, and yeah, they had to. They hung out at the USO for a while.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
that was the whole USO story.
Gotcha.
So thankfully, the USO, hooray! But yeah, that was use a 24-hour clock, everyone. What the fuck? The rest of the world seems to do it. Why can't we?
We're Americans. It's the same reason why we don't use the metric system.
No, I doubt it's the same reason. But the military uses it.
Right.
The military doesn't use the metric system. Except for bullets.
Yeah.
Or most bullets. Easy for you to say. Anyway, what were we talking about? Oh, Use and Abuse was live this morning with the return of the racing show. Check out the replay of 2024 race season is in full swing over at Used and Abuse Pod on YouTube. I saw that in the chat they were talking about they're trying to do the weekly again.
Very good.
So there you go. No news from Sweet Studios. He's going through some things, so keep the Swede in your prayers. And his family. Layman's terms, Frogmore Art, the Orange Fett Show this week. I know, Bronco Fett, you were in the chat earlier. So if you're doing things, tell us what you're doing, and I will try not to forget. You can find us at bio.link/the Cyber Cantina, where you can find our links to Patreon, YouTube, our audio podcasts on Apple, Audible, and Spotify, and all social media platforms, including X, Instagram, Facebook, Twitch, TikTok, and Discord.
Dick cord?
My penis so smooth.
Once you get to the bio link, simply click the symbols under our pic to go to your platform of choice.
Click the dick cord.
You can also find our past Spotify music mixtape playlists. Ah, yes, you can. Also on our bio link is our TeePublic merch shop. Choose from 7 designs on everything from t-shirts and hoodies to tote bags, phone cases, exclusive stickers and pins, wall arts, magnets, notebooks, laptop cases, pillows! How's your pillow doing?
I haven't seen it in a while. It's in the house somewhere.
That's scary. Did it fucking develop sentience because of all the sperm in it?
I have never fucked that pillow. I want the record to show I have never fucked a pillow in my life.
That was awful defensive. So he's definitely fucked a pillow, and it has developed sentience, is now roaming the earth. So beware, everyone. Beware. Exclusive stickers and pins. No, I said that part already. Just about anything you can imagine. Nothing says loving like a naked Jason chick on a pillow. I want so badly now to have the sentient Jason Rose pillow walking around almost like Towley from the fucking South Park.
Yeah, just have the pillow and then a couple of arms and a couple of legs.
Yeah, just oh my god.
Coming out of it.
There was a Rick and Morty. It was based something like that.
Right.
Nothing says loving like naked Jason chick on a pillow. I already said that. Go to bio.link/the Cyber Cantina. I see you. bio.link/the Cyber Cantina and click merch. Reviews! reviews.
Obviously, no new reviews,
My penis so
as
smooth.
you mentioned before.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Please write us a 5-star review on Apple or Audible. Don't have an Apple or Audible account? Our review Facebook page a review feature too. Just screenshot your review before you hit done and DM us on the pick on Instagram or Twitter, and your name and address, and a Luna Girl can send you a super cool ATSW family swag pack. This is your chance to tell us your thoughts on our show. Jason or Jennifer Lopez or Hank or Edith or Mama or Drunk Tom Brokaw or somebody fun will read your review word for word on the next episode. Let us know who you want to read it. Finally, if you catch us on Spotify, help us out and click those stars. If you're listening to us on audio, please consider joining us in the live chat on Mondays. The chat is most definitely where it's at. If you're new to the sidebar, please subscribe, ding that bell, select all to receive all notifications when we go live. Remember to smash that like button. It really helps us out. Shame we couldn't. If we had more time, maybe Opperman and I could have done a thing.
Opperman?
Yeah, you remember the guy was singing last week.
Oh, that's right.
It was that was all the singing.
Yes, I forgot about that.
Don't get to sing without these Oppermans. Oh, yes. Oh, see. See, there hasn't been the Hennifer's been gone for so long. You missed the dulcet tones of my singing voice, don't you, Jason?
Oh, yes.
You're
Very
going-
much so.
You're going to dream about me tonight, aren't you?
I hope not.
Yeah, that would be scary. Don't do that.
Yeah.
I don't even want to think about that. Just keep it between you and your pillow.
Mm.
All right. That's it for now. Bye-bye.
All right, bye. Welcome back.
Bye. 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 Bye.
All right. And Dave is back. So, next week, next 3 episodes of The Bad Batch. Week after that, Master and Apprentice. Don Solsky, if anybody is in touch with Don Solsky, let him know he won the book and let him know to tell us how he wants it. And we will get that to him. Until then, anything else?
No.
All right. Well, I know we we kind of blasted through the end here, but we were over time. And I'm sure we can talk about our experiences more in the coming weeks. But thank you everybody for joining us. Thank you for sticking to the YouTube, and Dave and everyone else. May the force be with you.
May the force be with you.
Okay, now what do I click?
Wow. I am really glad that you hit record because I completely forgot about that. Like, when did you start it?
2 minutes before.
Okay. I'm like, oh, I must have been out peeing. Maybe.
Maybe.
Yeah. What are you doing?
I'm transferring the.
Oh, okay. I thought you were messing with your the cord to your.
Oh hell no, we ain't doing that shit.
Yeah. All right, I'm gonna take this off. So that's what the whole USO story was. You thought it was a 9 a.m. flight and it was a 9 p.m. flight.
So I was literally we were getting ready for the fireworks, and I'm trying to check into the Southwest flight,
Yeah.
and it keeps telling me like, no, you're not 24 hours out yet. And it's like 7 o'clock at night. I'm like, it's a 9 a.m. flight. Why the fuck isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
So I like really look at it. Like I'm not, because I'm looking at it was like 9:56 to 11 whatever
Yeah.
direct flight, and I'm really looking at it, and then I look, and it says PM. I'm like, motherfucker, and I'm just like, and I said something, and Kathy's like, what? I'm like, I booked the wrong flight.
Hmm.
I booked the night flight at 9 o'clock at night, not 9 in the morning. Because we had everything revolved around that, like who was coming to take care of the dog and everything else.
Yeah.
And it's just such a dumb fucking thing. And I think part of it was too that we had planned to do like 3 days in the parks,
Mm-hmm.
and there may have been a point where I was thinking about getting a later flight,
Right.
so that might have influenced it.
So you could have gone to the park that morning.
Right.
Yeah.
But we only did a 2-day park hopper. Like that's what we settled on.
Sure. Yeah.
And honestly, for as much fucking walking and shit as we did, I couldn't have done any more time.
Yeah.
It was too much. I feel like a goddamn train hit me.
So what did you do? Did you stay at your hotel until you had to check out, and then just go chill at the USO
Yeah.
until?
Yeah, we checked out at like 10 a.m. Took the lift over to the. Had to stop. Well, Southwest goes out of Terminal A anyway, so that's where the USO was.
Yeah.
So we didn't have to really
convenient.
do much else. And then yeah, we just fucking. Kathy took a nap in the quiet room with the recliners until some snoring dude came in there and fucking disturbed her. But yeah, it was nice. It was nice. It was. They had plenty of soda. They had, video games. Well, you've been in there.
I don't know if I've been to the one in Orlando.
I think Kristen said that you guys were in there.
Yeah, I don't know, maybe.
But yeah, it was cool. They yeah, the USOs are welcome. Like the ones that are there's some of them aren't great. The ones that are outside of the fucking security, which it seems like more of them are outside of security than inside.
Yeah.
Like the one in Philly's inside security, so it's really nice because then like if you get something to drink or you can bring it with you on the airplane.
Yeah.
So you end up like saving money.
Yeah. Well, LA is the exact opposite. LA is this like whole separate thing, like outside of the terminal.
Yeah, and and like Denver's like that. Dallas is inside of security, but you have to like take the train because it's only in the one terminal.
Yep.
But airport, like you go into these massive airports, and that's it's part of the deal. That's what you gotta do.
Yep.
All right, I'm ejecting this.
All right, guys. We're going to end the stream now. Thank you for sticking around. I did not think that it was going to go that long.
Every time he thinks it's not going to go long.
Yeah, because
My
there was a
penis is
lot
shit.
that we could have talked about that we didn't. So,
Mhm.
oh well, what are you going to do? Maybe next time.
We'll get to it.
But until then, good night, everyone. We love you. See you soon.